Hey everybody, welcome to You Rankin with me. I am your host, Chad Webb. We do not today have my esteemed co-host James Tancock here, but we do have a lot of other really fun guests. And today we are ranking one of the greatest horror franchises probably ever made, Halloween franchise. I'm wearing a shirt. Austin's wearing a shirt. Kerri's wearing a shirt. Yeah, we have my wife. Uh,
What?
oh,
Oh.
wearing a
No one gave me the memo.
If you want to change at some point with magic, we'll snap our fingers and you'll magically be in a Halloween
I
shirt.
don't own a
Make that
Halloween
work.
shirt. Screw you guys.
But yeah, so we have my esteemed wife here, Kerri Webb. She's always here. She's not esteemed. I don't know if she doesn't want to be. We also have my buddy Austin Pez Howell. We have my buddy Hunter Chambliss. He's been on before. We did the Scream ranking together. And Jordan Owens, also known as JPO. Always fun group of people. So how's everybody doing?
Good. I'm a professional co-host, by the way, so I can fill in tonight pretty easily. I just did it for Henry a few minutes ago too. So, I kind of became an impromptu sort of tournament keeper of votes and things. So it's what I do, man. I got your back.
Hey, that's what's up. And Austin's might be the most knowledgeable about the franchise here.
I would say that. Yeah.
I've seen it a couple. I love some more than others, but we're about to find out how we rank this. This is what with me is that we're going to be ranking this franchise. We're going to go from our 13 to our 1. That's right. There's 13 movies in this franchise. They fell in love with this villain known as Michael Myers, and they decided they really like this character and they want to keep him going. So I don't know. This is probably never going to end ever. I know the one that just came out is called Halloween Ends, but I don't believe it for 1 second.
Money talks, Chad. It'll be back in a couple of years when you got to re-up.
The final nightmare. Jason goes to hell.
Yeah, listen. When it's time to re-up those rights when it comes to the studios, they'll crank out another one, baby. It'll be another reboot city once again. So.
Especially if you have a COD behind the scenes.
Especially when you're having a COD behind the scenes.
Oh, yes.
All right, so we're going to get started. We're going to start with one person. We're just kind of going to go around in a circle giving our picks. Now, if anybody says a pick that is higher for you, like in your top 5, then you can say something like we've been saying, wait for it. You can say punt. You can say hold your horses. You can say whatever you want to say to let everybody know that you rank that a lot higher. Even though they don't like it that much, you love it. So without further ado, Kerri, let's start with your number 13.
Okay. My number 13 is Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers.
All right.
Oh, I'm close to saying hold on that one. Real close.
All right. I can see that.
Like just outside of the 5, so I don't know if you want to hold it or not. That's up to you.
Well, we'll see what everybody else puts in. But my number 13 is Halloween 2. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Austin, what is your number 13?
My number 13 is also Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
All right.
Yeah.
Jordan, what is your number 13?
I got Busta Rhymes' classic Halloween Resurrection.
That's a classic one for number 13. Hunter, what is your number
13? I also have the Busta Rhymes Karate Master Halloween Resurrection.
That's what I thought you might have. So nobody said wait for it for Halloween Resurrection. So
no.
Should we talk about it?
Yeah, I think we can talk about that and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. They both had, for each 2 people, had them 13.
Perfect. So let's talk about those 2. We can talk about Halloween Resurrection first. Jordan, you mentioned Halloween Resurrection first. What do you hate about Halloween Resurrection? What the hell?
It's kind of boring. You got the one set location for the majority of it here. Leading Lady's okay, but nothing special to remember by. A couple of alright kills. I kind of like the tripod kills, kind of cool. Although I'm not really sure what kind of pointy ass tripod he was using. So even that's a little bit problematic in its own right. And the bouncing back and forth to the kid, and I don't know. There's a couple of problems, and my major problem too, which is something why I don't like Curse of Michael Myers either, is I hate what they do to kill the great ending of H2O, that we come back and it's nope, psych, God, that wasn't him in the mask, and even that's stupid. She doubts herself, and it's like, why? Like, that's obviously Michael Myers. The dude just ran through the whole place with you, and you killed Jamie Lee in the first 5 minutes, which just sets such a sour tone for what at the time, especially, you think is the end of that great character. What a horrible ending in this timeline for that character. So yeah, that's just that almost angers me to the point. And then Busta Rhymes can kick his ass, which was like such a contract thing. I'm sure he had in there, like, yeah, I'll be in your movie, but I gotta kind of win the fight. Like, come on. Yeah. There's not much to redeem here.
A lot of people can kick his ass, even Paul Rudd. So
But I like Paul Rudd. But that movie is also low on my list. So
yeah. So Hunter, why do you hate this one so much?
So pretty much going off of what Jordan said, I think there is where you go too much into comedy, and that's what Resurrection did, to where it makes it not believable in a Halloween movie sense. Where it's like you have this random scene in a hotel with Busta Rhymes watching a Jackie Chan movie, and all of a sudden now he knows karate. Now he knows how to kick Michael Myers' ass.
That's how you learn it.
Excuse me, he was watching a Bruce Lee movie, not a Jackie Chan movie, but actually,
I'm sorry about that. But just the characters are boring. You know, there's no one that you really care about. I don't even care about the main lead in the movie. And then, of course, that stupid Deckard storyline where he's behind the keyboard thinking they're dating when they're really not. You don't even know who he is besides his AOL name. And just, it does everything that a horrible sequel does, which is it adds too much comedy to make it believable. Nightmare on Elm Street did that as well, where it just, they went too much into the comedy route for me to kind of enjoy it.
All right, Kerri, what do you think about Halloween Resurrection?
Yeah, I don't have many good things to say about this either. I would say my whole, bottom four. I don't really enjoy these movies. I think the same things everyone else said. A lot of ridiculous things happen in this movie. It's definitely not, for me, the most fun Halloween movie. It's one of the least fun ones. And like Jordan said, I hate the beginning of this movie, how it just ruins the ending of H2O.
Yeah. So this is going to be the first, great thoughts. This is going to be the first time I plug this book. I read a book called Taking Shape. It's a Halloween book. They cover like the entire franchise up to Halloween 2018. And I learned in there that is actually Mustafa Akkad is the reason why they didn't. They kind of backtracked with that a little bit and said, no, that wasn't Lori, or that wasn't Michael that was killed at the end of H2O. Spoiler for H2O. That was actually an EMT guy that Michael switched him. It's because Mustafa was like, if Halloween Resurrection didn't happen with that, we would not have gotten H2O. If you like H2O, we would not have gotten it without that, because Mustafa said, if you kill off Michael Myers, I'm canceling H2O. We're straight up. And he had that power because he's the producer. And so if you love Scream, Kevin Williamson was the one who said, all right, I have a theory. It's not great, but I have a theory. I have a plan. We're going to do this. So it was all planned out that way. Does it make it good? No. But still, it was planned out from the beginning with H2O. And however, it was kind of an interesting way they did it, because Jamie Lee Curtis wanted her badass moment at the end of H2O. She got it, even though they, said psych. Resurrection. But you can just not watch Resurrection if you want, and H2O is perfectly fine.
There's another timeline where, for me, Resurrection doesn't exist.
Resurrection ends a specific timeline. That's the thing with Halloween, is there's timelines. However, there's different timelines. For Halloween Resurrection, my thoughts on it, it's not good, but there are interesting things. It's kind of ahead of its time in a way, where they tried to do the whole reality show type of thing. And it's interesting in that way. I just don't think the execution is there for it. But it can be fun if you want to have fun with it. Say you get drunk, you can have fun with it. It's interesting that they have this live stream thing of people reacting to things in Michael Myers' house. Everything is set up by Busta Rhymes. It's fun. He dresses like Michael for a second. He says motherfucker a lot, which is pretty funny. But if you hate that, then you hate that. Yeah, it's a little bit higher for me, but not much higher. Austin, what do you think about it?
I it's still in the bottom part of my rankings. I only have it a couple of notches higher, but it's only because what you kind of said, Chad. I can have drunk fun with it. I don't think it's boring. Like I can have drunk fun with it and have a silly time with it. I've seen it a lot. It just comes on TV a lot, and it came out the year I worked at the movie theater. 2002 it was the first Halloween movie. First Halloween movie I saw in the theaters was Resurrection. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, like you were saying, look, H2O made like $80 million. Money talks. That's what I said. Money talks. So you got to make another one. You got to keep it going. You can't kill it off. And yeah, I think if this movie had been made in the last 10 years, if they had done the same script or whatever, it'd be a found footage movie. I think they would have done a Halloween found footage movie. They floated the idea for another Friday the 13th movie being a found footage movie. I think that'd be interesting to do that, but they kind of have little scenes here and there that are sort of like found footage from like those POV kind of GoPro perspectives. So yeah, I like elements of that, and and to me, it goes to the theory that Michael every time just wants to go home. All these stupid people keep getting in his way of just sitting in his house and just being there, and all these dumb people keep invading his space. So give Michael a safe space, and he won't hurt you.
Thanks for the snowflake, Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And it's got a cool name, Dangertainment. And the other positive I will leave on for Resurrection.
Tyra Banks.
I was about to say, there's a lot of really kind of cool faces in here. You got Sean Patrick Thomas, you got Tyra Banks, you have Starbuck from BSG, Katie Sackhoff, and you have from Rookie of the Year in American Pie, Thomas Ian Nicholas. So it's a pretty interesting cast there. However, we can move on with my number 12, which is, or no, we're talking about Halloween 2. I forgot.
Yeah.
Before we get to the 12. All right. I'm the first one who talked about this. Look, I know there's like kind of a legion of people. Well, first off, there's a whole bunch of people who are huge Rob Zombie fans. That's fine. You can have the director you love. I do not like this director really one bit. I slightly enjoyed The Munsters. I thought that was kind of an interesting new kind of thing for him. But when he goes like hard, like despair, aggression, abrasiveness, everybody is yelling at each other. Someone is always being raped in his movies. It's just like really just like gross and not fun. And I think that's true. I'm not going to, sugarcoat it. It's the same for both of his movies in this franchise. I don't like the direction he took at all for any of it. I know there's some people who go back and they go, actually, there's some interesting stuff, like the way they framed Halloween 2. They go into it. It's a look on trauma for Laurie, and it's like really interesting the way that he wasn't like bound by the rules of John Carpenter's. He wasn't doing a remake there. It was all new stuff. Yes, it was. But it was all, to me, a lot of bad stuff that I did not enjoy, did not have fun with at all. But if you love this, it's fine. However, I don't really like this. A lot of people say that Brad Dourif is really great in it. I'll say I really like Brad Dourif. Every time he shows up, I enjoy him. But not in this movie either. So I'll move on. Austin, what did you think about Halloween 2?
Yeah, I had this one at the bottom of mine. I'm one of those like Rob Zombie defenders. I like most of his movies. I'm not going to say I like all of his movies. I legitimately love, though, House of Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects. I think both those movies are great because he's doing throwbacks to like grindhouse 70s horror, and I dig it. But yeah, H2 to me is just so mean-spirited. Like I can't have any fun with this movie. And to me, like I at least with some horror movies, I want to have a little bit of fun. You can have a despair horror movie if that's the goal, like if that's kind of if it's meant to be bleak or something. But Rob had full creative control over this movie because he didn't want to do it, and they gave him everything, and it's like he just went full zombie. Like as far as like just there's not a single likable character in this movie, like at all. Maybe other than slightly Brad Dourif, but that's like stretching. I think most of the characters are unlikable. I don't like what they do to Malcolm McDowell's character. I don't like what they do to Scout Taylor Compton's character, like her, Laurie. I just think the movie I need to have at least a little bit of fun. And also just aesthetically, there's like 3 dream sequences. Like, can we just have something that happens for real? Like there's a 20-minute dream sequence. Like, come on, man. Like, and just, characters that are making necrophilia jokes within like 5 minutes of the movie. Just that's the shit I'm talking about. So yeah, I don't have any fun with this one. That's why it's at the bottom.
Yeah, everybody's either screaming or crying this whole movie.
Yeah. The whole it's so loud. Yeah, it's just an assault.
Like
Yeah.
the worst part of Scream 3 too is the ghost dream stuff.
Yeah.
And I just want to say before we move on to Jordan, I haven't seen a lot of Rob Zombie movies, so that this is where I'm coming from. This is my starting point. So we'll see if it gets better if I
Which
watch
ones have you seen? Just curious.
Just those and the monster.
just those 3 movies.
Okay, so I didn't like House of a Thousand Corpses either the first time I saw it, but I've really warmed up to it. It's a throwback to like Texas Chainsaw and like especially Texas Chainsaw 2. And it's very colorful, it's very well made, and there's a lot of great performances in it. Same with Devil's Rejects, even like Roger Ebert liked Devil's Rejects. Like it's a really good throwback revenge movie. So
Kerri's been wanting me to watch those, so we'll get to them at some point.
yeah.
Jordan said no, so no, I won't.
No. I just Rob Zombie is a very polarizing director. If you like, I agree with you.
Go
Chad,
ahead,
like,
start talking about it, Jordan.
That's why I was saying Devil. You might like House of a Thousand Corpses. Devil's Rejects is very much in the vein of it's just kind of nasty, like rapey horror, and I'm just not into that.
Okay.
So I don't know if you'll like it, but give it a shot. Let's know. I actually have Halloween 2 higher than Halloween 1 because I hate Halloween 1 as far as Rob Zombie, of course. Because I think at least 2 is so off the rails that I do find it more interesting and rewatchable than I do Halloween 1, which I hate what they do with the lore and everything. So yeah, but no, it's not good. He gets crazy with the dream sequences in here, and like you said, it is a pretty unpleasant movie here. Poor Danielle Harris, who of course was young Jamie Lloyd in the other universe. It's such horrible that she gets killed after surviving that first one. And there is Brad Dourif is really putting on a nice performance there. Actually, he actually gets a really serious sad scene in this one here. But yeah, it's sloppy. These 2 movies, just not a fan of them here. I wanted to like them because the first Zombie was my first theater Halloween, so I wanted to like him. But damn, yeah, I just didn't like what he did, where he went with them.
Absolutely. Hunter, what do you think about Zombies Halloween 2?
So I had Halloween 2 at number 12, the Rob Zombie version. So it was right below Halloween Resurrection. The only reason I put this one or Halloween 2 over Resurrection is because I feel more intimidated by Tyler Maine's Michael Myers. I think he plays an intimidating figure. Yes, it is very, depressing and very hard to watch at times, but there are some good kills in Halloween 2 that I can kind of I don't want to watch it, but, if I'm on a rewatch, I'm not going to just roll my eyes at the cringy 2000s horror or comedy as I am in Resurrection, trying to rewatch it.
Makes sense. All right, Kerri, what do you think about Zombies Halloween 2?
Yeah, this was actually my number 12 as well, and I only put it above Curse. And I'm sorry if anyone likes Curse.
We'll get there, but I do like Curse, but we'll get there.
I think I put it, even though I don't in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I don't agree with a single choice he made. I still dislike some of the choices in Curse so much that it put Halloween 2 just one above for me. But yeah, the weird dream sequences are like I don't even know what they are because it's like Michael seeing them, Laurie seeing them. They're so off the wall.
It's because they're linked. It's like Michael. It's what Michael sees.
I don't know. And then
it doesn't make any sense.
Taylor Compton is just screaming and freaking out this whole movie. I'm like, can you give this girl something else to do, please? She has like one nice scene where she's like petting a puppy.
She deals with her PTSD by becoming a Nirvana fan, which is like the most shallow interpretation of like PTSD I've ever seen on screen. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go grunge, like 90s grunge. Like that's how I'm gonna deal with my issues instead of going to therapy. Like, yeah. It's
exactly
weird.
Yeah, and they all of the young girls in this movie, they go 90s grunge. Like it's they started off Halloween, like if you watch them back to back, they're like normal. It's wild, but I
Tom
know.
gets reversed.
Everyone's dirty in this movie for no reason. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It makes sense in like House of a Thousand Corpses. Obviously, people, they're living that way. They're going to be dirty. It doesn't make
Wait till you watch Devil's Rejects and see Sid Haig roll out of a bed just as tidy whities. Oh boy! Wait till you get to that.
And I don't know. The dialogue in this movie is like, it just took me out of it so far. Like, I don't know. I understand. Like, obviously, I was a teenage girl at one point. I cursed. Everyone curses. I've never heard any like teenage girl call someone cocksucker so many times. Like, I don't know. I think Rob Zombie needs to spend like 5 minutes with a teenager. But anyways, I don't like this movie at all.
Yeah. All right. So we've all talked about it. Yes. So we'll go on to 12s. I'll start with my 12. It is Rob Zombie's Halloween. What is your 12, Austin?
My number 12 is Halloween 5: The Revenge of Michael Myers.
All right. Okay. Jordan, what is your number 12?
Zombies Halloween 1.
Okay. Hunter, what is your 12?
Halloween 2, Zombie.
2. Okay. Kerri, what is your number 12?
Halloween 2, Rob Zombie.
All right. So now we're going to talk about Halloween 1, Zombie.
We have to.
Well, we're getting them out of the way, so it's fine. I have higher, but
We kind of already talked about both of them.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, like, honestly, both of them are like, my number 13, to be honest, or tied for my number 12, because I dislike them equally. I mean, it's I don't know. It's interesting to see. I hate it, but it's interesting to see him, like, his different take on the character. I think it's the exact wrong choice that you do, but I'm like kind of weirdly fascinated by it as well, but then I hate it, which I don't know if that makes sense. I hate all of the, like, I understand like this is a thing with serial killers and stuff like that, but like they really steer hard into like the whole animal torture porn and stuff. If you've ever heard me talk about horror, it's one of my biggest things about horror movies is animal torture. And it's like, I don't know, it's like there was like a scene that they were talking about in the book is like, they wanted to keep about like the way Michael Myers escapes from the facility from Smith's Grove is because 2 of the orderlies like wanted to rape somebody. And it's like, why it's zombie, everyone's getting raped in these movies. Like, why is that such a big thing for him? I don't understand why, like, he thinks everybody's just doing that. So it's just like everything in this, and just like it starts with the people screaming at each other, and the stepfather screaming at the kid, and just all this stuff, and it's just like really terrible, and it just really makes me want to go jump off a cliff sometimes, and I couldn't feel that way after watching a movie. So Austin, what do you think about that?
So full disclosure, I have it at number 8, so I probably have the highest of anybody on here, but it's still not like in the upper half. It's like at the height of the bottom half. I'll say this for one point of contention: the rape scene is only in the director's cut; it wasn't in the theatrical cut.
But they wanted to keep that.
No, well, Rob did when he did the DVD, but in the theatrical cut, he just breaks out of his chains in the thing and goes on the rampage. To be fair, so just full disclosure. Anyways, but I here's the thing. The reason why I'll defend it a little bit is when you do a remake, it's like you want to stick to a little bit of what the previous thing did in concept, but you do want to try to do something different. And I think at least in the first half, he's doing something different. It's a completely new hour of that movie. He is diving into it. I understand if you don't like it, but like at least he's doing something unique and interesting. With him as a kid, with Dave Farish, I think he's legitimately creepy in the movie. Like, I think he gives a decent performance. I like the dynamic between him and Sherry Moon as his mom. Like, I think there's something there, and it's interesting. They don't really dive into much of the supernatural. It's more of like a natural thing. There is something though that he kind of turns it on when he pulls the mask down. Like something possesses him to like pull the mask down and then kill, because he goes from like eating candy to then pulling the mask down and bashing in William Forsythe's head, and then going on the rampage. Same thing in the asylum. He pulls the mask down, then stabs the nurse. Stuff like that. So there's something there. He's going for it. I like Malcolm McDowell in the movie. I think he's doing something different than what Donald Pleasence Cousins did, and I like what he's doing. He's not totally bleak. He's trying to find some kind of, he's trying to help, you know what I mean? Like he's trying to do something to help Michael. And then, yeah, the last hour is pretty much a sped up version of the movie. So it is what it is. It's not shot for shot, but it's almost the same thing. But I just think the movie's well shot. I think it's technically well made. I think there's a lot of good performances, and it doesn't bore me. I just find interesting things about it. So I haven't hired someone once because I find it more fascinating than some of the other ones on the list. That's all.
Yep.
So,
and my qualms are never that it's not well made. Rob Zombie seems to know how to make a movie, even though like the trailer of The Monsters came out and everybody's like, wait, what? What is going on here now? I
Horrible trailer.
throw out that like John Carpenter also has like said he hates this version because it explores the character, and that's the exact opposite of what you want to do with Michael Myers. But if you find it fascinating, I totally understand that.
I find another movie on this list fascinating, but I like it.
I kind of know what you're talking about.
So I'm immensely fascinated, more fascinated by another movie on the list. We'll get there.
All right. The fact that you said it the way they sped it up is because Rob Zombie wanted to make 2 movies. He found the stuff that was less interesting was the remake of the original. Yeah. He wanted to do the rest of the stuff. But anyways, Jordan, what do you feel about this movie?
Yeah, I hate this movie. I don't like what they do with the lore here. I like the idea of Michael just kind of being the incarnate of evil here. You know, in the first movie, his parents aren't bad. He's just fucking evil, man. And this one, I think they spoon-fed too much of like, his dad's shitty, he's bullied. I don't need that. Put that in a different movie. You know what I mean? We've seen that in other movies anyway. I didn't need to be spoon-fed as to why he's evil. So I didn't like that idea. As you mentioned, I know Pet's kind of defending, well, that's the director's cut, the big, long way he breaks out. It is the more readily found version, though. You know what I mean? On Blu-ray. DVD,
no, I mean, he's like, the theatrical is really hard. I have a copy, but it's because I bought one back then. Like, I still have the DVD.
Which for a lot of people, that is the version that they've seen. Probably more people have seen that version now to a degree. Yeah. And that to me, again, speaks to just the way he likes things. Because the other version is so much more bloodier, interesting, shows you how powerful he is without being creepy, unsensical, and just disgusting and not fun in any way. Obviously not fun. So I just don't really have much respect for this movie. I didn't have fun. I think this one's just as much of a downer and everything. And yeah, there's not really much I find here. I don't like the decisions he makes at all.
Hunter, what do you love about Rob Zombie's Halloween, original Halloween?
Nothing. No. Tyler Mane again is probably the most intimidating Michael Myers, and I like how he kind of like embodies the shape of Michael Myers, because he's this big, intimidating, like, you know, guy who you would not want chasing you down. But really, I absolutely hate the way that they delve into Michael's backstory, because the whole idea of the original Halloween was that he had no reason. There was nothing behind his eyes. There was no motive. There was nothing that was triggering him to kill his sister. It was just he snapped when he was 6 years old. And that's what makes it creepy, is that anybody can snap. That's what I love about it. This one is like, oh, he was abused. Like, yes, I get it. You know, that's normally how serial killers are created. But the whole idea of the original was that, you know, anybody could be a killer at a moment's notice. And that's what made it powerful. And they just kind of forced this on us in this movie.
Hunter, I really like that line. And anybody can just snap and be that. That's great. Mm-hmm. Kerri, you didn't talk about this one yet, right?
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think for the same reasons everyone has been saying, I don't like giving Michael's character a backstory, and I really hate what Rob Zombie did with Laurie's character in this. Yeah. I feel like almost he was just trying to make a different kind of serial killer movie, and it's just framed in Halloween with the Halloween characters. I think it could have actually been, if it hadn't been like a Halloween movie, it could have actually been something pretty cool.
And I mean, I think if you're fascinated by these two, you like that he included the sister plot, and we'll get there, but I think that's one of the worst things that ever happened to Halloween was the sister plot. Anyways.
I'll just say this one last thing about Halloween. If he had done the same thing, like he does in the second half of the movie, you would just say it's Psycho 98. So he did something different. That's my argument. He did something different.
To be
Okay.
fair, though, I wouldn't have mind a Psycho 98 version of Halloween just with Tyler Mane's Michael Myers.
I get the argument if it's different, but it's not a good different for me. So
Yeah.
Well, no, I understand that. That's why I defend. It's to me,
Yeah.
if I want to see something different than the
Yeah.
rest of the series, I go to
Yeah.
this movie.
I'll
You know,
defend. I'll
like-
defend Ends a lot more than I'll defend Zombies Halloween.
Well, we'll get there.
We'll
All
get
right.
I know.
So
As far as
we're
different.
on. I believe we're on to our number 11s now. So Austin, what is your number 11?
My number 11 was Resurrection.
Okay, we talked about that. Jordan, what is your number 11?
Curse of Michael Myers.
All
Push
right,
you all.
getting there. Let's go around. Hunter, what is your number 11?
Zombies Halloween.
Okay. All right, and then Kerri, what is your number 11?
Also Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Okay, my number 11 is Halloween 5, the Revenge.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Austin, didn't you have that low?
I have that at 12. Yeah. So yeah. So we
Okay.
can talk about it.
So we can talk about 5.
Mhm.
And we can talk about Curse because Austin had that higher, but it
Mhm.
wasn't in his top 5.
Right.
So let's talk about those. Austin, you had Curse of Michael Myers the highest out of all of us. So talk about your enjoyment or love of that movie.
So yeah, I mean, and oddly enough, with this new ranking with Ends in there, it's my number 6. Oddly enough, but yeah, it's. Look, I'm just kind of fascinated by the movie. I'm fascinated by the 2 cuts of it. I've gone back and watched both versions a lot. There's just something about I like the atmosphere of it. I like the look of it. I think it's shot really well. I think the atmosphere is good. I think George P. Wilbur does a great job. He's the only guy to play him twice. Oddly enough, to play Michael twice, and Paul Rudd is very stiff in it, but it's still interesting to watch him in it.
Paul Ian Rudd.
Yeah, Donald Pleasance is still there doing his thing. I just kind of like how bonkers it is, especially if you watch the producer's cut. Just the third act is just so off the rails and so nutty with Paul Rudd in a hood, like laying down runestones on the floor to like stop Michael in his tracks. Like I just think it's interesting that the theatrical one just hasn't beaten the shit out of him with a pipe. It's just weird. It's a weird, crazy movie. The producer's cut does like they added in the original music, like they rescored it with like the original music. I think it works a little bit more like with the original music. And I think there's some good kills. Like I just think this movie kind of gets unfairly maligned just off the cuff because it was so shit on then. But I think if you watch it just stand alone, like I do a lot, and I know it gets into the stupid cult stuff. I get it. But like I get all the criticisms, and I would agree with most of them. I'm just kind of fascinated by this movie, and I go watch it a lot. So yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah,
Totally fair, and that's why we wanted you to start because
yeah,
it's a lot better to talk positively about things.
Yeah.
Negatively, so but you hate what you hate sometimes. Jordan, how do you feel about Curse?
Yeah, I don't hate watch it, but yeah, there's just things that really bog me down to make it so much lower on it. The first is the cult stuff. You're losing me as we get more and more culty, and especially that second cut is very much about the cult. There's a thing where maybe he's going to impregnate her, and you're losing me now. I also too like mentioned before that I really get bummed down from how some characters are left off, and I think Jamie Lloyd's offing is horrible. I love the setup before. Losing me a little bit in 5, and then he absolutely lost me in 6, which is she gets killed off early. It's a different actress. So yeah, I hate that ending to her, and yeah, I don't know. Those problems kind of really bring this one down from being kind of a little bit higher.
Yeah, Hunter, what do you think about Curse?
Sorry about that. So I actually have Curse a little bit lower on my list, not too much, but I think if you watch it as Austin said on its own, it's not a terribly made movie. But I also agree with Jordan that I love the Jamie Lloyd character, especially watching 4, 5, and 6 in a row as I did. That to kill her off in the first 10 minutes of the movie just kind of felt like a sour note to me because there's so much more that you could have done with that character that they didn't explore enough in this movie or in 5, if I'm being honest. But it's cool to see Paul Rudd in his first movie role. He is very stiff, I will agree, but he does have some funny moments.
I do a great Paul Rudd impression from this movie. Do you want to hear it? All right, when he's on the phone with the radio guy. I was there that night. I was one of the lucky ones. I survived.
Yes. That spot on impression, sir. spot on. But it's not a terrible movie. It's just not a really fantastic Halloween movie.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, Kerri, what do you think about this one first?
Yeah, so this was my number 13. It's my least favorite movie in this franchise. I was like everyone else said, I hate what they did to Jamie's character in this. I thought she had such a strong start in 4, and then I hate that she in this movie and canonically she is 15, and I'm not quite sure if it's canonically, but this is Chad read this in the book, and I think it's on Wikipedia as well. Just like it was the intention that she's 15, she's having her uncle Michael Myers' baby.
Yeah.
And then she's just killed off. And then somehow Paul Rudd finds the baby. And
Who hasn't made a peep all night?
Yeah.
He names the baby Steven.
Yeah.
And then it just so much of this just feels like scenes that are kind of cut together, like the whole subplot with the woman who lives across the street from Paul Rudd, and her dad is really horrible to her and her son, and like
those are the Strodes.
Yeah, they're the Strodes. Yeah. That's right. They're I guess Laurie's aunt and uncle.
In the Michael Myers house, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know Paul Rudd. There was a time where he really couldn't act very well.
First movie.
Yeah, it's his first movie. And to me, in this movie, he just comes off as extremely creepy. I don't know if that was really the intention.
He's definitely not creepy. He's like staring out the window at people the whole time. It's like, bro, you ain't helping your case that much when you're just standing at that window, like looking at everybody, bro. Like you ain't helping your case.
Look at what
it's funny. Yeah, but it's funny. I agree with what everybody said. I agree. I just still like it.
And then
like, I can't fight it.
He gets some punches in on Michael Myers, which is I don't know. Anyways, I find myself I actually don't enjoy watching this movie. I for me it's like the most boring of the Halloween movies, and maybe that's just because it comes, for marathoning them, it really comes at the tail end of a rough section of the Halloween movies, so that might be part of it. But
yeah. I'd say I agree with Austin that this one's kind of fascinating. If you just like look at the story about how it was made, you had like an actual it seems like good writer had an idea for this. I wanted to see it come through. If you want to blame someone for how this actually turned out, you got to blame like the Wachowskis and stuff like that for having such huge involvement and they, the writer even said that they saw their work just getting cut up and just they just wanted to get this movie out. They didn't really actually care about making a good movie. So it's just heavy studio involvement. But you have behind it, you have a writer who actually cared about making a good movie. In fact, it was the writer and someone else and Paul Rudd, and they were all in a room. How can we make a good movie out of this? They keep, cutting. And they even said, the writer said that he doesn't blame Joe Chappelle for making a bad movie. He just blames Joe Chappelle for not fighting for the movie. So we get a weird movie. And the thing is, too, Kerri and I have not really, I don't think we've ever seen the producer's cut. So I want to go back and check it out and see if I enjoy it more with that. Because I've heard that it has a very good, fall, October, aesthetic in that movie as well. So it feels a lot like the original in that way. The things I like about the movie is I actually really like the Kara and her son, Danny. I like those two characters. I want to see them make it out. I want to see Danny not become the new Michael Myers that they're desperately trying to do that damn cult. It is cool to see the thing from 5, the Man in Black that they just kind of threw in there, actually have a meaning. And yeah, I really like those two. And I like the scene where that asshole dad is being really mean to her and he slaps her, and then you see the son having the knife pointing at him. That scene is, I think, just really excellent, where I'm oh my god.
At least he gets a good comeuppance, man. He gets his head blown up in the producer's cut after he gets electrocuted. It's pretty great. It's good. It's really good.
And I don't hate Paul Rudd in this movie. Like, I'm not saying
he loosens up throughout the movie. It's just those first couple of scenes are like really stiff. But like, I think that was the case. Maybe some of the original footage or something. He's a little looser once the movie like goes on. There's a great moment with him when Michael's coming down this hallway. He's trying to break this door, and he just has a little moment where he's like trying to break it with like a fire extinguisher. He just looks over and he sees Michael coming. He just goes. And he just keeps breaking it. Like, it's actually a pretty good acting moment. Just like, God damn it again.
Yeah. I remember that. Now that you said that, yeah, that's perfect. Because I'm like, oh shit, he's right there. He's gonna get you.
Yeah, he's just like, son of a, this guy.
Isn't yet clueless, Paul Rudd, but we're almost there in this timeline of the '90s. We've all talked about Curse. So the next one that is on the slate to talk about is 5. I feel like that is a pretty, maybe widely not really enjoyed one. And I'll go ahead and lead it off, I guess, since I'm still talking. 5, the only thing that I like about 5, because I think this one, what Kerri said about Curse is like, I think this one is maybe the most boring one that I'm just like, that's really not much is happening in this movie. And I think it's because like, the director, Domenico Finnan-Gerard, he wanted to basically undo everything that happened in the 4th movie. And this is not how you make a sequel to a movie. I get it. You want to come in, be the director that leaves a stamp on the movie that you're directing in a franchise. I understand that. You want to pull a Taika Waititi and Thor Ragnarok, whatever. But the 4th one was actually working a little bit. So why would you undo everything? The ending of 4, and we'll get there, is really cool. And to take that and go, no, actually now she's insane, she's mute, she's gonna say cookie woman and just sound so ridiculous to this character that we actually kind of like, Jamie Lloyd. And then they say that she has like one of the most terrible arcs in all of horror, where she, she's like the niece of a serial killer, and then like, she almost kills someone, and then she becomes catatonic, and then she has a baby at 15, and then she's murdered brutally. And it's just like so terrible, the path that they send her on, starting with this movie, because it could have been a really cool path had they followed the logic from 4. Otherwise, there is a sequence that I thought was kind of cool, was the vent sequence.
The laundry chute sequence is good.
That's it, the laundry chute sequence, when she's falling and he's trying to get her and stuff like that. It's kind of tense there. Other than that, I feel like it's very boring and I don't really like it. So Austin, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, it's my number 12. It's just under H2. It's to me, this is just the most boring of all the movies to me personally. Man, this movie, it's the one I've seen the least. Like, I rewatched it like 2 or 3 weeks ago because I was like, I just don't remember that much of it. And boy, is this movie fucking boring, man. Just a slog, like from start to finish. And the only good things I could say, like, I still think Danielle Harris is good. Like, she's giving a good performance. Like, she does the freak out things like very, very well. When she's freaking out and spazzing out, but Donald Pleasant's like manhandling her like a rag doll half of this movie, just like, what are you doing, girl? I need the information. Oh, it's just like, Jesus Christ. It's like, bro, like, chill out. She's like 9. So that stuff is weird. There's like the 2 wacky cops where they literally have like cartoon noises every time they come on the scene. It's like, meow, 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 meow. Like every time they like step on the scene, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this, bro? Like what, Looney Tunes cops? Like I was like, it comes out of nowhere. Like, it's just strange. Michael's like hunting people down in a car in this movie, like trying to run them over. Like it's weird. There's just weird stuff about this. It doesn't feel, like it fits with everything else. I don't know. I just think this movie, man, when I was rewatching it on Prime, I was hitting that 10-second thing like over and over and over again. And it still took like forever to get through this damn movie. I was like, oh my God, how much longer? Holy shit. This one's just, of the like OG movies or whatever, this is just the most like boring for me, and just just so much of a slog. Like, if I was marathoning it, man, I would dread part 5 every time. I guarantee you I would fall asleep. Like every time. That would be the part where I would tap out. Yeah.
There's one part I like, and then another part that I get afraid is because when they introduce the little kittens, I'm always scared that something's going to happen to them. And I think she drops one at one point. Calm down.
Well, and then they introduced like a golden retriever in it too. I'm like, don't kill the dog. like they do in a lot of these movies. I'm like, please don't kill the dog.
No.
Yeah.
But the one part that I actually do kind of like is I like the character Billy because he's so sweet and he just like wants to like make sure Jamie's okay.
Mhm.
It's just such a little cute little relationship that like gives me
Yeah.
like feelings. And they almost made him be some weird like BMX bike kid, which I'm wondering if he would have come in and saved the day on a BMX bike. If that would have made the movie so campy that you would have actually.
Somebody watched like BMX Bandits right before they made the movie. It was like, we got to have this kid on like a BMX bike. I mean, like, be like, ET came on the other night on CBS. We gotta get some kids on bikes in this movie. Yeah, that's what this movie needs. Yeah.
But if you would have defeated Michael Myers with a bike, that's a cheer moment.
Sure.
Jordan, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, like before, it's an unfortunate follow up to an interesting premise with 4. And then it is kind of boring at points there. I don't like what they do with Jamie here. You find out she didn't really kill her, just kind of hurt her stepmom or whatever. So she's not And then I also don't like what they do. They kind of kill off Rachel, kind of like the older sister kind of type character.
Why do they do that in the horror movies? Friday the 13th did it for part 2. They do it for this one, like a person I like from the previous movie.
Like this
the Dream Warriors in part 4 of Nightmare fucking kills me every time. Like when they kill off the Dream Warriors, like stop doing that. Like just leave them alone.
At least earn it. Do it later in a more impactful way. Like the fact that it's kind of like almost halfway and.
Like I said with Dominique, the director, I think what he wanted to do was he wanted to subvert everything. He's kind of like trying to be a Rian Johnson with The Last Jedi. He wanted to subvert the trope that Rachel was a really nice, good girl character. So let's kill her off and make the other, I think her name's Tina or something, make her the kind of badass kind of girl. That's like, or the bad girl that's still hero.
You got your one main girl kind of catatonic and stuttering, like you said. Now you're gonna kill off the other girl. What are you leaving me here with, people? So this one's an unfortunate another follow up here. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. So Hunter, what do you think about this one?
So I'm bringing up the chat on here. I said, talking about the Michael Myers home and how. At the end of the movie, it looks nothing like the Michael Myers home whatsoever. Like, not at all. But just like, Jamie Lloyd is a great character. And then immediately you take Danielle Harris, who gave a great performance in 4. And you're like, we're going to make her this side character that doesn't talk and is a mute. And you're just like, she was really good. Like, why would you mute someone like that? Like, a lot of decisions I just don't understand.
Hey, we're going to have Deadpool in our movie and have him mute. Sound familiar?
Yeah, it sounds very familiar.
Wolverine? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also, is this the worst mask or?
No,
Yeah.
no.
My opinion is
I gotta look at them all because I can't remember. They all kind of.
I've got the Blu-rays over here. I'll get them for you.
What's worse than this mask, Fez?
A movie I like. Let's just put it that way. It has a worse mask. H2O is a bad mask. H2O is a really bad mask. Bad one. Yeah. Because they totally. It doesn't even look like the Michael Myers mask. It's like somebody did it from memory, like a sketch.
Use like 3 different masks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd choose the H2O over 5.
I don't know. Halloween 4 had one that was was it like a pink mask with a white hair at one point in the school building?
Oh.
Oh yeah, 4 is not good either.
Well, who's next to talk about this one? Kerri?
Yeah,
Kerri.
So, this one it is definitely. I agree. It's pretty boring. It's mostly further up in my list just because I dislike the other movies more. But, I don't like. I like Hunter said. Danielle Harris, I think, was pretty good. In 4, and then in this movie they make her mute and she has to do all this like weird hand gesturing and like she's mute and she's not supposed to talk, but then she also, I guess the script has her saying stuff, so she has to like kind of croak it out really weird. Like
it's cringe.
It's pretty bad. I don't know. I guess this one maybe has a few cool kills and that's why I had it a little higher, but I don't.
Yeah.
There's not much good to say about this one.
No.
All right.
All right. So we're going on number 10. Are we with Jordan? I think, right?
Jordan.
10. Jordan.
My number 10 is 3, Season of the Witch.
Interesting. That's a wait for it for me.
And I just want to make sure there is someone who has not said Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, correct? Okay.
It's me.
You don't have to say it,
I'm
but
that guy.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, did I miss something? No, I didn't. Okay. I just wanted to literally just wanted to make sure.
Fair enough. Yeah. Hunter.
And when we get to wherever you ranked it, Jordan, if you wanted to say a couple more things about why you like it, that's fine. We've done that before. Okay, so Hunter, what is your number 10?
Halloween 5: The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Okay, and Kerri, what is your number 10?
Halloween Resurrection.
Halloween Resurrection is also my number 10 because it's a little bit funner, not funner. Austin, what is your number 10?
Speaking of subverting expectations, my number 10 is Halloween Ends.
Okay.
All right, that's
Okay.
definitely a wait for it.
Me too.
Yeah, wait for it
Yeah,
for me as
that's
well.
a wait for it.
Oh, I'll be the lone dissenter. That'll be fun. Here we go. All right.
Cool. All right, so
I think we would go on to our 9.
our
Actually.
9.
Yeah, we go on our 9 because we've already talked about those other ones. So yeah.
Hunter,
Yep.
what is your number 9?
My number 9 is Halloween 3: Season of the Witch.
That's a wait for it. Kerri, what is your number 9?
Oh, okay. My number 9 is Halloween 5.
Okay. My number 9, we haven't mentioned this one yet. I think Austin likes this one. Halloween Kills.
Wait for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Austin, what is your number 9?
H2O.
That's a wait
Wait for it.
Wait
for it.
Wait for it.
And Jordan, what is your
This will be fun. I'll be like
Yeah.
the one guy who has like the wacky order out of the crew. That'll be fun. Hey, we need that sometimes, you know?
We do.
I was expecting, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Zombies 2.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So
Is there
keep
anything
going.
to talk about now?
Well, I didn't a couple people have, or no, not yet. Season
yet.
of Witch was low on a couple people, but yeah, we can keep going. I think
Top 5.
That's in my top 5.
Okay.
So
Sorry. Yeah.
that's okay. Okay.
So I have 3. So we'll go to 8. Kerri, what is your number 8?
Okay. My number 8 is Halloween 2.
My number 8 is The Curse of Michael Myers. Also, what's your number 8?
My number 8 was Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Okay. Jordan, what is your number 8?
5, Revenge.
Okay. Hunter, what's your number 8?
Halloween 6: Curse of Michael Myers.
Hey, we have the same number 8. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, but we've talked about Curse, so yeah, that works.
And then we can go into number 7. I start with number 7. Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2 is my number 7.
It's not if it's like number 5. Do I say wait for it? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wait for it. All right.
What
wait
is your
for
number
it.
7, Austin?
My number 7 is Season of the Witch.
Okay. And Jordan, what is your number 7?
4, Return.
Return. Okay. Hunter, that's
a wait.
That's a wait for it, actually. Yeah.
That's a wait for it for me.
Yeah, I'll
too.
wait for it as
Wait
well.
for it.
And Hunter, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is Halloween Kills.
Okay.
Wait for it.
Kerri, what is your number 7?
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
All right, so we should talk about Halloween 3 now, even though I have it a little bit higher. Everyone
Okay.
ranked it below their number 5. So let's talk about it. Who wants to start with Halloween 3?
I'll start.
Go ahead, Hunter.
So I watched this movie recently, and I knew obviously Michael Myers wasn't in it. It's a fun movie to watch anthology style, but I just don't like the story behind it as much as I do the rest of them. I think not having Michael Myers in it kind of makes it a weird flow when you're trying to watch them in order. Like you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. This is the only one that doesn't really have Michael Myers in it. So it kind of feels awkward in place. But taking it as its own movie, it's really campy, really fun. But there are movies that in the Michael Myers timeline that I love just a little bit more than Season of the Witch.
Nice. Kerri, what do you think about Halloween 3? Season of the Witch?
This one, it's definitely the entire, like the overall story, I think, is kind of suffering. and it is definitely pretty campy, but I think there are some pretty cool aspects to this movie. I like the part where that one woman is in the hotel room and she's like fiddling with the mask part and like blows her face off.
Yeah, just
I think it's like a pretty cool kill, and I think the masks are really cool.
yeah.
And that song is a banger. I love singing that.
4 days till Halloween.
Halloween, Halloween, 4 more days to Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Boom, bam, 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 boom, bam. Boom, bam, 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 boom. I can just do this the whole time when we're talking about Season of the Witch. Boom, bam, boom, bam, boom, bam.
And it's the weird tradition of Tom Atkins in horror movies dating.
He's great in horror movies. He's awesome.
Younger than
What else has he been in?
Night of the Creeps, man.
With Jamie Lee Curtis.
I haven't seen Night of the Creeps. I need to.
Night of the Creeps rules. If you like Slither, go watch Night of the Creeps.
But I do like The Fog, though. So
Fog's good.
I think we bought that as part of the October.
Sweet.
So, but yeah, this one is pretty much. It's a fun. It can be a really fun one, but at times it's a little slow. So.
yeah, okay. Season 3. I'm the one that ranked this the highest, which I'm actually very surprised because this is one. I think this is one of the ones that got so maligned because it tried to do something new. It tried to start a Halloween anthology. I mean, you can see it, right? You can see the original Halloween being one story in an anthology, and then it start with a different story. However, they did have a Halloween 2 in there, but you could see Halloween 3 being a new thing. Halloween 4 is a completely different story, but everybody wanted Michael Myers. We all get it, right? We love that character. He's evil, whatever. You love him. You want to keep him going. At least the Accods did. But what I did not like Halloween 3 the first time I saw it. But in subsequent rewatches, like it is an interesting story on its own. I feel like it really goes into like the kind of the thing about Halloween. It's interesting, like the way they did they got Stonehenge, and they're like weaponizing that, and they're trying like the villain in this is way more crazy and evil than Michael Myers could ever be because he's trying to kill millions of children with one TV program and a bunch of masks. It's like a commentary on like corporations and shoving commercials and shit down your throat. And I really respect Tommy Lee Wallace because he's like the editor on the original film, and then he got to direct this, and he was very passionate about it. Like it's just like a film made by like a really good filmmaker, I think. And I think if Michael Myers had been the iconic figure that he became, I feel like this would have gone down as a lot of people's favorite like Halloween style movies. And I love the way this ends because it ends on a cliffhanger with him going,
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
So there's a lot of just like really iconic things in this, a lot of things to like about it. And originally, when I saw it, I just like this. What do people like about it? But now I kind of get it. So it's right up for me. It's in my top 5. That's all I'll say for now. Austin, what do you think?
I mean, this is why I've always said this movie kind of right in the middle. I have it at like my number 7. It's literally like right, pretty much smack in the middle because like it's a really good horror movie. It's just not a Halloween movie, And if they just called this movie Season of the Witch or this creepy mask or whatever the hell you want to call it, Silver Shamrock, I don't care, whatever you want to call it. It would be regarded as like a really fun Halloween atmosphere movie. This movie does put me in the mood like around Halloween. Like you put it on, it's got some nice stuff going on. People trick or treating, people with the mask on, the jingle like gets me. I love it. But like the plot is really really stupid. Like it's this Celtic worshippers and Stonehenge, and it's really really stupid. Like when you sit there and think about it, it's really dumb. But Tom Atkins is awesome. He's great in horror movies. I think the scene where the kid like this head disintegrates or whatever, and like the bugs crawl is really disturbing. Like I think it's really well effective. There's some really good like kills in it, and dude, the score for this movie is like for me right up there with the original. I love the score of this movie. That score is awesome. It's like the best like 80s atmospheric synth score like you'll ever hear. Like it's so good. And I'll tell you how much even Stephen King liked it, because if you go back and watch the trailer for Maximum Overdrive, he puts music from this movie behind him while he's talking about Maximum Overdrive. When he's saying, "Oh, I'm gonna scare the hell out of you," you know, like all this stuff. Like it's great. Like go listen to it. But it's really, really good. And so yeah, it's just kind of in the middle because I think it's better made than some of the other movies. It's more fun. It has better atmosphere. But I have to have it lower because it's not really a Halloween movie. So that's just me personally. Yeah.
Fair. And the one thing I'll add for this one is that if you could tell, Tommy Lee Wallace loves Invasion of the Body Snatchers because there's a lot of references to it.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with the love interest. Spoiler alert, she turns out to be like a robot. So
Yeah.
Jordan, what do you like or don't like about season 4?
Yeah, I definitely was someone that just didn't know. I was young, and I remember watching Halloween 3 and going, where the hell is Michael?
Technically, he's in the movie on the TV, but yeah.
I did that for trivia once. They're like, which one is he not in? I'm like, well, technically, he's shown on the television.
He's on the television.
Your question is wrong.
I did that the other night with several of the questions that the lady was asking at the brewery. She asked, like, how many movies in the original Nightmare, like, timeline, and the correct answer wasn't even one of the options. She asked about, like how many people does Jason kill in the original Friday the 13th? Like, he's not the fucking killer. That's not even like the right question.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, this is amateur hour.
Lady?
This is amateur hour, lady. Come on now. I'm going to take over this whole operation.
I say just grab the mic. All right, you know what, guys, I got this.
All right, we're done. I'm going to do the questions on the fly. Let's go.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
Years after I watched it for that first time, though, like I watched it, I was like, all right, there's some redeeming, interesting qualities here. Like you said, maybe if it was called something else. But I still kind of found it a little bit boring. It's not one that I find myself going back to. And even if it was called something else, I don't think I'd be going back to it often. So it's just kind of okay for me.
Nice. Hunter, what do you like? You don't like this one at all, do you?
I enjoy it. Okay. It's fun. I will say it may get better on a rewatch because I've only watched it once. So as you said, you watched it once, you didn't like it. No. Maybe as I watch it, maybe it'll grow on me more and more.
Yeah.
It could become a classic Halloween staple. Maybe say, do you like this one?
I enjoy watching this. Like I would throw it on for sure.
What do you? That's all you want to say?
I already talked about it.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah.
We've gone around. We've gone around. All right.
It's all good. It's hard to keep up. We got 5 people.
Sorry. Okay. Where are we at? Number 6.
Yeah.
Number 6.
Yeah.
Number 6.
13. I think it's on me. I think.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. So number 6 was number 6 for me. Curse of Michael Myers. Yeah.
There you go.
So, yeah, that was appropriate. Yeah.
Jordan, number 6.
Halloween Kills.
Okay. Hunter, number 6.
Halloween 2.
Kerri, number 6.
Halloween Kills.
My number 6, and this is wait for it for sure for everyone. No one said it. Halloween 2018.
Ooh, wait for it.
Wait for it.
Okay.
Well, even Kills, I would say wait for it. It's way higher for me, but that's up to y'all. Like,
so I had Kills at 7. So if you guys want to talk about that one, it's kind of closer to where we are now.
Yeah, we can talk about Kills now. Austin, I think, likes it the most.
Yes.
So go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, I have. I'll just spoil I have it at number 3. I fucking love this movie. I think it's awesome. And I just did a drink along with Michael Wolfman like a week or 2 ago.
I gotta watch that.
You got to go back and watch it on Mega Movies with a Z at the end. I got obliterated because we did a thing where Evil Dies Tonight. Take a drink.
Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight.
Anytime you kill somebody, take a drink. And I added in every time Lori gets in or out of her hospital bed, you take a drink.
I want to watch it that way. It might be better for me that way.
So, and it gets really tough when you're in the hospital and the whole crowd is going, Evil Dies Tonight, Evil Dies Tonight. And I'm watching my subtitles. That's all I see. Fuck.
Stepping back thoughts.
It's really bad. I had a horrible hangover. But anyways, I just think, and I think this movie will be reevaluated based on Halloween Ends. That's my prediction because I don't know what else you can want from a Halloween movie. It's Michael Myers wrecking fucking shop and being a goddamn Terminator in this movie and just wrecking everybody in Haddonfield on the way, again, back to his house. He just wants to go back to his house and hang out in his room.
Give Michael his
You know?
home.
You know, and I just there's another movie that does the mob thing. I know, but I love the mob stuff in this one. Like I like when people are proactive in horror movies, like when they see a threat and we go after the threat. Like we're trying to do something. Whether or not they succeed is whatever, but like they're doing something about it. I think the flashback scenes are incredible in this movie. I think they're incredibly well shot. Whatever filter they did, I think they're really well done. It fits right in with that old movie. It transports me back. The guy who plays Donald Pleasance is great. Like with that makeup, like I think he's spot on because it wasn't CGI, it was makeup. Like it's a dude doing it, and somebody like kind of dubbed over the voice or whatever who could do the voice. But I think that's excellent. The use of the score of this movie is off the charts. Like if you just listen to the way they use the score throughout the movie, I think it's great. I just think this movie hightails it. It books it. There's not a dull moment in this movie. I have rewatched this so many times. I just think this movie flies and is entertaining as hell. So yes, I have Halloween Kills at number 3. I have so much fun with it. I realize maybe I'm in the minority, maybe I'm not. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of 50-50 on kills. Like people either like it or they don't. I don't know if there's much middle ground. We'll see. But yeah, I've got the wacky ranking tonight. It is what it is. I love Halloween Kills. I think it's great. So,
I love it, man.
Yeah, I love to hear opinions that are different from mine. So great.
Yeah.
Jordan, what do you think about Halloween Kills?
Yeah, this is when the new trilogy was taking a weird turn, and I was like, I'm torn here because it definitely has some nice kills. If you're in it for that, yeah, Halloween doesn't need to do some killing here in this one. And I watched it twice, pretty back to back, which I don't normally do when it first came out because there is something about it here. But then I don't know, I just. First, I hate super dumb characters here. There's several characters that just kind of stand there and wait to get killed. Michael, you've come home. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. 3 Mississippi. I mean, like, just gonna stand there, Michael McDonald. Come on, Stewart. You should know better, Stewart. You know, the dad that's like, hold on, we should wait for backup, but I'm gonna go in alone. You know, and I don't get the whole park sequence. The girl fucking ricochets the gun in her head. You're losing me there a little bit here. So just stuff like that, and. I don't know. Like I said, there's redeeming. I don't know why Judy Greer also goes upstairs at the end of it, other than to be killed to set up the third one. Why does she feel the need?
Do it. Yeah.
Why does she feel the need of staying in that window? I don't know. Other than she got to die. So yeah, it has its moments, but it also has its moments that just bother me.
Cool. Hunter, what do you think about this movie?
Big John, Little John, let's go.
I want a sitcom about Big John.
I do want the prequel sitcom where they're alive.
Yes. I know. I just want to see them watching horror movies and hanging out and eating cheese and doing their thing, man. Absolutely.
I do feel bad for Little John. That armpit stab.
Ooh, yeah, that one gets me in the theater. Oh, right up in there. Yeah.
Halloween Kills is super fun. But as Jordan said, there are some character moments that I'm like, why would you do that? And it's just the one thing that bogs this movie down for me is I like the mob idea, but you are chasing someone who does not remotely look like Michael Myers.
Yeah, that whole subsection I didn't like either.
Accusing him to be Michael Myers when he doesn't look anything like Michael Myers at all. And it's just that moment where he jumps off feels so kind of dark just to be dark in a movie that wasn't really an emotional punch. It was just like Michael kills people, that it kind of felt jarring to me. But overall, very fun movie, but just those moments really stand out as kind of negatives to me.
All right, yeah. Kerri, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, so this one was kind of right in the middle for me because I do think there are some cool aspects to this movie. Like everyone said, a lot of the kills are really cool. I love Big John, Little John. I think Judy Greer actually has some great moments in this film. Not really the end where she kind of just like stands right where Michael Myers loves to kill people, but her whole scenes in the hospital, as much as I hate the rest of the hospital like scenes and atmosphere, I think she actually like you get to know her character and actually care about her character in this movie. I'd say the things I don't like, the whole Evil Dies Tonight chanting that everyone makes fun of.
Evil dies tonight!
Evil dies tonight! I don't really love any of the scenes with like what's his name? It's Michael, not Michael C. Hall. Is it Michael C. Hall?
No, Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall. I get that
It's
mixed
not
up.
Dexter.
I get them mixed up. Anthony Michael Hall.
Almost Paul Rudd. Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny McBride reached out to Paul Rudd to reprise the Tommy Parks. It's the same character.
That would have been awesome.
Because he thought it would have been just fun. And Paul Rudd was open to it, but he was filming Ghostbusters at the time.
Okay.
He already had an obligation, so it was what it was, yeah.
I think all of those bar scenes, I think they're just weirdly shot, and the dialogue is so off. And I hate that Laurie is basically just stuck in a hospital bed for this whole movie. And she really does nothing except
Like
to help
Halloween 2.
incite the crowd, basically. Yeah, and like in Halloween 2, which is one of the reasons I don't like Halloween 2 that much. I do love throughout this entire trilogy how much like you can tell David Gordon Green really loves this franchise. I do love that part of it.
Yeah.
I've always laughed at the Paul Rudd thing because I always feel like, what an excuse. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh no, I'm busy. Sure, we can make time for you. I said I'm busy.
You go back to the when everybody doesn't like me. And there's a couple things that I do like about Kills that I would actually extract from Kills if I could and just get rid of the rest of the movie. Is I just love Robert Longstreet, who plays Lonnie. Because he's a Mike Flanagan regular, and I'm a huge Mike Flanagan fan. I really like that actor a lot. I don't think he does much in this movie, but I like him. And oh man, you saw me cheer when Hunter mentioned Big John and Little John. When I first watched this movie, I was like, what the hell is this movie doing? But I love those two characters. I don't know why, but it's just amazing, like their whole dynamic. I remember one time I was upstairs and I just went, Big John? And then Kerri was like, yes, Little John?
Hey, Big John.
Yes, Little John.
And so I'm like, I want to do that now because I just love their little, dynamic.
Sure.
Have a home. Yeah, he mentioned
I like the fact that Kerri's Big John.
Yeah. Of course, because I like Little John, so I wanted to be Little John. Anyways,
What? What?
But
Okay.
No, Little John. But anyways, this movie, I think I don't like the part with when he jumps off the roof and he dies, and he's kind of still alive on the ground. It's really gross and brutal, and I know a lot of people like that. They love the kills where the one dude has some insane grinder thing in his hand and is like, that's a cool thing that Michael can use to kill him with and stuff like that. Like that whole scene, I know a lot of people love that type of stuff. For me, I don't really like a movie just because it has that a lot of the time. So for me, I'm like, that's not even really my Michael Myers to be. Mine's like slow and like kind of methodical in a way, and like this one is like an old man who is just like so nimble and like can rush. I was like, how do you even explain that? But I guess
I mean, you guys are going to defend Ends, which kind of tries to explain that, and I'm going to talk about that. So let's see. We'll talk about it because I think he gets power from killing, and there's a reason why he's in the sewer for 4 years and Ends. We'll talk about it. But
we will get that. Interest. So I think everyone can agree this is not a good trilogy. And I think I don't know where the hell the blame is. I guess it's like the Star Wars sequel trilogy where there wasn't really much of a cohesive plan. But I think if you wanted to do anything, you get rid of this movie. You take Judy Greer. You just have her die at the end of 2018. You take Big John and Little John. You have them in 2018. You give them a spinoff. You don't kill them because they're precious boys. You know what I mean?
Spinoff.
Oh my God.
Yes.
And then, You get rid of the boyfriend from 2018 because fuck that character. Why even have him? There's a lot of things they could have done that they didn't do. But Halloween Kills, if you can have fun with it, I think that's amazing. But for me, I'm like, I just wish that one didn't exist. I would love just the 1-2 punch of 2018 Halloween Ends. But we'll get to those other two movies.
I go the other way. I love the 1-2 punch of 18 and Kills, and I don't like where it ends up. So we'll talk about it.
We'll get there. But where are we? Wait, everyone talked about Kills. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on number 5.
Top 5. All right. So we're going to start with, I believe, Jordan, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Jordan, what is your number 5?
Halloween Ends.
All right. Halloween Ends. I have it a little bit higher. Hunter, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers.
Okay. That is also my number 5. Kerri, what is your number 5?
That's also my number 5.
Oh, look at that. Awesome. What is your number 5?
Halloween 2, the OG Halloween 2.
All right. Okay. So, does people have Halloween 2 a little bit higher?
So I'll say right now.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I'll say right now, 4 people have already said Halloween 2, and 4 people have said Halloween 4. So I think we can go ahead.
Talk about those. Let's start with Halloween 2 because I think more people have mentioned that earlier, right?
Yeah, that was my number 6.
Yeah.
All right. Halloween 2. Who has it the highest?
Me.
Jordan, do you want to start with Halloween 2?
Yeah, I think it's a worthy sequel here. I don't hate the sister thing like some people do. I think it also gives him a little bit of a reason for why and who he's going after here. That he's just psycho and killing the last of the bloodline kind of to a degree. So I don't hate that. And I think Donald Pleasance is still really good in this here. To me, it's another good example of what could be a good finality as well here. If you just want to say the timeline of where it's done now. You know, they kill Michael Myers at the end. Even Pleasance kind of sacrifices himself here. If you like gore, this is definitely a lot gorier than the first one here. You have it definitely goes to that next level as far as horrific kills as well. So I like the hospital setting. Unlike Resurrection, it's a big enough setting to where it's one setting for the most part, but it is enough to play around with it. So yeah, I like Halloween 2.
Cool. Hunter, what do you think about Halloween 2?
I love the fact that this takes place on the same night as Halloween 1, so it feels like one continuous movie, and you can watch Halloween 1 and then Halloween 2 starts right where it ended off. I like how I love the hospital setting, and I like that Laurie, while she is stuck in a hospital bed, she does move around a lot more. Like you get like the final battle at the end, and she does more in the original Halloween 2 than she does in Halloween Kills, which I appreciate. And there's also some really good like memorable kills, like the jacuzzi dunk scene is brutal. It's really fun. It's really like a really good 1-2 punch of like Halloween 78 and then Halloween 2.
Nice. Kerri, what do you think of Halloween 2?
Yeah, this one to me is a pretty fun movie. It's kind of just in the middle there. I think the kills are really cool. There are some aspects I like. I think Michael is still really cool in this movie. Dr. Loomis hasn't gone totally off his rocker yet, like he does in 5.
He's getting there.
Getting closer, but
he's not totally unhinged yet. He's almost there. Yeah.
Not Jake and Jamie.
I like the cute romance between Laurie and the paramedic guy. I think that's fun. But I think ultimately this one was a little lower for me just because Laurie doesn't get as much to do. She's mostly in the hospital and stuff. So
yeah. All right, yeah. Halloween 2. The things that I like is not much. I put this higher because it's not made by John Carpenter, but it was written by John Carpenter, so there's still that attachment to it. He didn't really want to write this. He just wanted to make that one movie and be done with it. And, I'll spoil a thing here. I kind of wish they would have just made the one movie and just didn't make another one. I think that would have been great. And I think because he was forced to make this, he kind of just did kind of like a half-assed job. And then he was like forced to kind of like, I guess, come up with like some sort of explanation. I think this could have been made if they were going to do a Halloween 2. I think this could have been made a lot better. And they're also trying to, because this was like a few years later, even though it takes place the same night as a few years later.
Oh, she's got a wig on. That's for Jamie Lee Curtis has got a wig on because she had already cut her hair for other movies. So yeah.
So it's interesting because the original Halloween created the tropes, and so now the Halloween 2 is trying to find its place in amongst the other movies that it influenced. And it's like, well, now we need to add more gore. We need to do all this stuff that's kind of keeping up with the times and what other people are doing right now, even though it's only just a few years later. So I don't know. That's kind of weird. I don't like the explanation. I don't like any of the explanation stuff. If you try to explain any of the stuff, I think it just makes it less creepy. And it's just like, oh, that's why. Okay. And so that's like the whole point of the original movie. And so if you try to explain stuff, so John Carpenter has even said, I hate that sequel that I wrote. I think he said he was like drunk or something when he wrote it, and he hated the sister plot too. And I don't care for it. But it is a movie, like Hunter said, that you can watch back to back with the first one, which is kind of interesting. And it's still really close to the original movie, even though it's like not as brilliant at all. But it's still somewhat fun. And even though he tried to kill Michael at the end of that, and then go into a whole new different thing, they're like, no.
They're like, you will bring him back.
We are Akkads, okay? And we love Michael Myers. We're gonna bring him back. Awesome. What do you think about Halloween 2?
Yeah, no, I have it right at number 5. I just like the hospital setting of it. It's the most dimly lit and unpopulated hospital you've ever seen in your life. At least Halloween Kills has a populated hospital with people running around, and it's lit. There's things going on. I don't know where the hell everybody is. I've been to hospitals at like 3 a.m. There's people there. It's well lit. Like, what is going on? But I like it. It creates for some unique settings and things that just kind of break it out. It's not just like a carbon copy of the first movie. I like some of the alternate footage they use at the beginning for like to kind of recap it with like the other shot of him going over the balcony. Like, I like that stuff. They keep the same score, but they sent it up, because it's 81. So, but I still kind of dig that. So it gives a nice flair. Poor Ben Tramer getting smashed by the car. That sucks. Yeah. Poor guy. The guy that we were talking about in the original that actually wanted to take.
Just murder routine and then not mention it.
We would just spend half the movie trying to figure out if that was Michael or not based on his teeth. I mean, it's good. It's not too long. It just kind of. I think it's well directed. Like, I think Rick Rosenthal actually shoots the movie really well. Like, it actually looks pretty good. And it has just one of my favorite badass sort of Michael moments when he's approaching the door and just walks right through the glass door. I think that's awesome. Like, when he's just like, fuck the door, I'm just going to walk right through it. Like, that's amazing. I think. And I like the ending of Loomis kind of, he's like, bro, if we're going, I'm going with you, bro. Like, let's go. And he lights it up, and there you go. Yeah, if they had ended it right here, I think it would have been pretty successful. Like, it'd still be a good little double feature. Like, inferior to the original, but, not by a lot. Like, I still think it's a really solid slasher. So, yeah.
It is cool, like, how they kind of still try to follow, like, a kind of a logic where Michael's slowly taking out the power, the security guard, and stuff like that. So, it's smart in a way.
He's working his way around like you do in video games. You don't go right for the middle of the fort. You got to take out the guards around the towers and things first. You got to do like work your way in.
Splinter Cell type.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're down to we're talking about Halloween 4. I have Halloween 4 at number 5. Does anybody have it higher?
I have it at number 5 as well.
I have it higher, but just slightly. Yeah.
Go ahead and start.
I literally have Halloween 4 at number 4, and it didn't used to be like that, but now, again, when we add Halloween Ends, and now it's 13 instead of 12, it just happens that Halloween 4 is my number 4. And I just think, man, This movie just feels like such a fall movie, man. Like this from the opening credits, like that little Haddonfield montage where they're just locking in on different locations and like the leaves are blowing and like the music kicks on. Like the credits are amazing. Like I love the way this movie just gets going. I like the look of the movie. I think it's shot really well. It's Dwight Little, who's actually a really good filmmaker. And yeah, this is the one where I might like this mask the least. It just looks so stiff. Like it's so bright and stiff, but at the same time, you can explain that because it's not worn and weathered like he had in the other movies. It's like a fresh mask, so it's just very very stiff. But yeah, I still think Donald Pleasence is good. I mean, the way they bring him back is weird. He's just half scarred up or whatever. Yeah, he survived that massive explosion. Okay, all right, fine, I guess. Again, if you can get past the convoluted entry point. I think Rachel and Jamie have like a really good dynamic. I think it really holds the movie together and it is really heartfelt and it kind of locks me in. I think they're a really good pair. Yeah, it's good. There's good fun kills. They do the mob thing in this movie, but like again, hey, I give them props. They hear that this guy Michael's back. He escaped. He's back in Haddonfield. Well, fuck that. We're getting our shotguns and we're going to do something about it. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, they screw up and they're bumbling fools for the most part. But like, at least they're trying. And like, I actually like the sheriff character. I forget his name, but I think he's really solid. And it's like he believes Loomis pretty quickly. They're on the hunt. They're trying to do something about it. Like he's a smart character. Like it has for the most part pretty smart characters other than the mob guys. They just kind of make them to be the village idiots, which I'm okay with. So yeah, I just think the movie's really, really well done, and it's one I go back to a lot. I like 4 a lot.
Yeah, and I think the whole comment you made about it being like a really fall feeling, I think is very important for a Halloween movie. It's really interesting because like the original was shot in like California where there was like they had to sprinkle some.
They have to scrape up the leaves in every shot and move them from location to location.
Location.
It was so low budget that they had to save the leaves, save the pumpkins, save everything, and move them from location to location to keep it looking like fall. Yes,
barely have some
in Pasadena where you can see palm trees like in the background.
Yeah,
yeah.
Illinois.
Yes, right.
Jordan, what do you think about Halloween 4?
Yeah, no, I dig it. As I said, I love the Jamie character here. This is an actual kind of cool concept to bring up in a sequel and to kind of keep things going, especially because, like Pat said, Donald Pleasence is super, super dead. So is Michael Myers. But, no, they're not because the 3 didn't work money-wise. We got to do something to keep those characters alive. And Jamie Lee didn't want to come back, so Donald Pleasence is alive. And, but, yeah, it starts off on a good note here. Yeah, bad mask, but there's enough interesting things here and characters you actually kind of like again. And, yeah, it works for the most part.
I think he also kind of looks puffed up, like he looks like he's got body armor on or something underneath the thing when he's walking around. He's like walking around like this, like the whole time. It's just very strange. Like it looks like he's got like a suit on, like a fat, like not a fat suit, but like a muscle suit or something. I don't know. There's like he's just like puffed
Michael
up
Myers
and weird.
wears fake muscles.
Yeah, right. So there's something going on with that. Yeah, the look of Michael is weird, but if I can get past that, I'm fine. You know what I mean?
It's still Nick Castle, right?
No, this one was Dwight Little, or George Wilbur, who played him in 4 and 6.
Okay.
Yeah. He's the only guy to play him twice, other than Tyler Mane. Like Tyler Mane did it later, obviously, but originally he was the only guy to do him more than once.
Okay, I was about to say because the new guy did it 3 times. Right?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But like in the original like timeline or whatever, you know what I mean? Like the Mustafa Akkad movies, essentially 1 through 8. He's the only guy to do it twice, essentially. Yeah.
Hunter, what do you feel about 4, or how do you feel about 4?
I really liked 4. Coming off of 3, which was kind of middle of the road for me. It was a great return to form for Michael Myers. Because it gave us something new. It wasn't just Michael going after Laurie again. It was Michael going after Jamie Lloyd, a great character played by Danielle Harris, who gives a terrific performance, man. Which is what makes me so mad about 5 is that they nerfed her from being able to act as well as she did in 4. There's a scene where kids. There we go. Sorry, kids are teasing her. And she runs out and she's crying. She's having like a panic attack. She's telling herself it's going to be okay. The emotion was really there. Like I felt for that character. And I love Rachel. I love her half sister, Rachel. I like their chemistry is really good because it feels like a real family, like a real sister love. Just a lot of things, as Austin and Jordan said, it feels like Halloween. Like the Halloween season is there, and it's a really good one to put on when you just want to watch something that puts you in the spirit of Halloween.
Absolutely. Kerri, what do you feel? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, this one is I really enjoy watching this one. I like Jamie's character. I think Danielle Harris does a good job. I agree with what everyone said. Like I like her dynamic with Rachel. This one, it's just a good one. The characters in this one are pretty great. It's an enjoyable watch, and Michael still pulls off some great kills, and again, Loomis is not totally crazy in this one.
He's almost there.
He's almost there.
No, 5 and 6 is where he jumps off the ledge.
Yeah.
He goes nuts. Yeah.
He's still a good, decent character in 4. I don't know. This one is just one that I really enjoy watching.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with pretty much everything everybody said. This one, I don't think it's like a great movie, but I think it's a good one. I think it could be up a little bit more on the Rotten Tomatoes scale. I think it's, like it said, it's fun. It feels very fall. I love Jamie Lloyd. She's so good in that role as just a, early young. That's the word I'm looking for. Actress. And she's kind of done dirty in the other two. Like her character is, and then also the actress, and and then she goes on to, I think, be worse in the Rob Zombie movies, and I kind of wish she wasn't in those. And then I would like to see her return to I don't know, is she in stuff? But for
she was in the Hatchet movies, y'all. Come on.
Yeah,
I haven't seen those. But I will say something that I don't think anybody's ever. Well, we've talked about it earlier, but I think the original Halloween 3 and kind of 2018, I think all have the best endings. This one has a really fantastic ending with her, after like killing her foster mom.
they should have just had her kill her.
And then Pleasant going, no.
No. Yeah, that look in his eyes. Oh, so good.
And then she's just like sitting there, like, emotionless, and
Same clown mask as her uncle.
She touched her uncle, so now she's evil now. It's kind of interesting, and it's just like a really cool ending that could have been picked up and like carried on to be something really great. And I don't think it ruins it that it wasn't, but I still think it's a really fantastic ending. I mean, I will throw down there, I think the original Halloween is like probably the best ending of any horror film I've ever seen. So that right there, even though they've gone on to do other things, I don't even think that ruins the original ending. So this is still a great ending. I think it's a really good movie that I really enjoy getting to going through this series. And I didn't used to think that. I liked this a lot more the first time I watched it. So, that's 4. So where are we at? Number 4s or number 3s?
Number
4s?
Yeah, 4.
Yeah, number 4.
All right. Who's number 4? Hunter?
Yeah, it's me.
Number 4.
So my number 4 is Halloween 2018.
Okay. Kerri, what's your number 4?
Good question. My number 4 is Halloween Ends.
Okay. My number 4 is Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. Austin, what's your number 4?
My number 4 was 4.
Okay, that's right. Jordan, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Bobby Boucher's favorite, H2O.
Is it high quality?
High quality H2O.
So,
on Jordan's wait for it, is that, are we still doing that or not?
not really.
Okay.
I mean,
top 5.
Has anybody said H2O other than Jordan yet?
Way back when, but because it was lower for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we talked about 2 already, right?
We talked about both 2s.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I would say 3 people now have said Halloween Ends, so that would actually be our next one.
Okay, so Halloween ends, then we can talk about H2O, and then 2018
Then
because
2018.
two people.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start with Halloween Ends. I have that a little bit higher. Do we start with the highest or the lowest?
Because I have the lowest, unless somebody wants to start with the highest, and we can bounce around.
Let's go with the lowest. Austin, you start.
So yeah, I had it at 10. Look, Halloween, The Rise of Corey. If you like it, okay. I think it's an okay psychological thriller if it wasn't called Halloween. It's a Season of the Witch situation. I think you don't call this movie Halloween. You don't have Michael Myers in it. It's a pretty decent little thriller about a guy who gets sort of, goes from like little geeky nerd to crazed serial killer. This movie does not feel like anything like the other two. I was sitting here watching it in the theater, and I was like, this movie doesn't feel like it belongs with the other two. I'm saying what you will about Kills, but it picks up right where the other one left off. It's shot the same. It feels the same. This one feels like a completely different movie. I don't know what movie I'm watching. It doesn't vibe the same. Michael is not a central character. And they marketed this movie as Laurie versus Michael, the final showdown. Yeah, they have one after about an hour and 20 minutes of Corey. It's a spoiler alert, by the way, for Halloween Ends. We're getting into it, so whatever. But yeah,
if anyone's watching this countdown and hasn't seen it, you're weird.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, just saying, because it's my reasons for it have to go into spoiler territory. It is what it is. But you introduce this character in the first 5 minutes, and it's a character, and then he becomes the main character. We've never seen him in the other two. If you had introduced this character in the other two, I could maybe roll with it. But he comes out of nowhere, and he's a new character, and he's the complete and utter focus of this movie. I don't know what movie I'm watching. And, I understand the thing of, some people like it because it's something different. But when you're concluding a trilogy, now's not the time to subvert expectations. I expect something. I expect a conclusion that rolls with the first two. This movie is The Rise of Skywalker, The Rise of Corey. It does not mesh. And, it just does not work. And I don't, again, it's technically well made. There's good performances. I think the kid who plays Corey is good. There's good things about it. But this is not the conclusion to what we've built up to for me. It doesn't feel like it works at all. And if I watch these back to back, which I did because I'd watched 2018, I'd watched Halloween Kills twice the same week because I did the drink along plus I had to prep for it, so I watched it, and then went to the theater and watched Halloween Ends. I was with a buddy of mine because I was down in Florida where the guy used to do reviews, and we both looked halfway through and we were like, is this the same movie? What the hell movie is this? This is weird. I just don't understand the logic of the movie, of the pitch. Hey, we're going to do this conclusion. What are we going to do? So we got this new character we're going to do. His name's Corey. And you're going through the movie going, so is Michael in this movie? Or no, he's just going to be in a sewer hanging out for 90% of the movie. And then we'll do this weird apprentice thing where he's killing guys with him for no fucking reason. And then there's just even things that don't make sense. Oh, nobody can have, if I can't have her, nobody can have it. Okay, I'll kill myself. So now everybody can have her. What? I don't understand. The conclusion of the characters don't make any sense. I like the definitiveness of them throwing him in a grinder. That's definitely a way to get rid of him for good. I get that, but we never had a face off with him and the black sheriff guy with the cowboy hat. I kept waiting for that. That never happens. We don't get payoffs for Lindsay. Survives the movie. I could have sworn he would go after and kill Lindsay off for good.
Yeah.
That's just weird. She disappears in the movie halfway. She see ya, I'm out of here. Laurie just had. You go into 2018 and she's prepped and ready for Michael Myers. She's been prepping for 40 years. Michael actually did come back, murdered half of Haddonfield, killed her daughter, and then now she just and Michael was never
now
caught.
She's chill.
And now she's chill. I don't understand that. It doesn't feel like the same character. Now she's just chilling with no security cameras, no weapons, no nothing, when he's still out there somewhere. I don't understand the progression. They feel like it's the same actors, completely different characters, completely different script. The granddaughter doesn't feel the same. It just feels like fucking Halloween Twilight or some shit. I don't understand what this is. It just doesn't work for me as a Halloween, as a progression of this series. I don't understand the decisions that this one went to. I don't get it. Again, technically it's fine. You know, like it's a better made movie than Halloween 5 and Halloween Resurrection and shit like that. But like, I don't get it, bro. Maybe y'all can help me. I don't get it. And I've listened to both sides. I don't get it. Like
All right.
people love this movie. I'd love to hear why, because it doesn't fit with the other two. It just doesn't. So
Nice.
I don't know.
Nice. Jordan, what did you feel about Halloween Ends?
Yeah, man, I think a lot of us had that first viewing and went, What? This is not the movie I signed up for." Which I can get the thought process maybe going into it, similar with maybe Rob Zombie and his remake of like, let's do something different, let's subvert expectations. But again, to make, like Pez said, a lot of true points. Corey all of a sudden becoming your main character, that could have been a really interesting fourth movie. If somebody else wanted to take the reins and go, okay, Michael Myers is dead, let's kill him in Ends, but maybe his lore is still over the town, and people are still paranoid, and someone almost succumbs to the evil like he did. But then all of a sudden shoehorn him in again. I get why Jamie Lee Curtis took a backseat in Kills, because she's hurt. It's kind of like the second movie. She's in the hospital. They showed more of the town. But again, she took a backseat again, and all of a sudden it's the Corey show, and it's the relationship with the granddaughter, which I don't think was really earned. I don't think that makes much sense as to why she exactly really wants to be with this guy. It was just kind of whatever, getting picked on by band geeks.
They do this meet cute, and 2 days later she's ready to like run off to another state with this guy. It's
not earned.
It's very clunky. Like the whole movie is just very, very clunky. The voiceover from Jamie Lee Curtis is clunky. Like this whole like thing where she's writing a book. Like I think the romance is very shoehorned and clunky. Like the whole movie just feels like it's just a mess. I don't. It's like 8 different movies trying to compete for your attention. I don't know.
Yeah, you mentioned the babysitter girl, or the girl she babysits from the first movie. She disappears again. She never has a kind of a finality to her. I don't like the kill sequence of the band geeks. Everyone's dumb in that scene. 2 of them both stop to check on the girl after their friends have been murdered. Run, go, get the fuck out of there! Like, everyone's dumb again here. Yeah, I just and to say it doesn't feel like the same trilogy. How does he go from killing a mob in the second movie to I'm a weak guy in the sewers? Like, what? He's unstoppable at the end of 2, and all of a sudden he's just this weak dude in the sewers who Corey can overtake and rip his mask off of it later on. Yeah, it's just I get trying to do something different, but especially when you're selling a bill of goods and then almost taking away the whole new concept just to go, okay, last 10 minutes, let's give you what we promised you, and then not even earning that. And so it is kind of a sloppy.
Look at every trailer of this movie. Corey's not in a single one of them.
You see the side of his head. You see him grab him in the studio.
Yeah, but you just figure he's some other side character fodder. You know what I mean? Like in all these slasher movies, you figure he's just
like this would have been good to send Corey up in this. Let another writer take over and do the premise of 4, or I don't know. Just it's weird. You can kind of tell too. There's 2 more screenwriters on this project too, which I feel you can kind of tell that again. Maybe there's just too many cooks in the kitchen. Of
like, Will Patton's barely in the movie, and Will Patton was like vowing to kill Michael and kills. You know what I mean? Like they're having this monologue.
Yeah, I thought he would do more, but now he's just kind of there to be cutesy.
He's just there. I there's just no payoffs. I don't see it. Yeah.
Also, that character was very dead in that first movie, Will Patton. But anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Great. Hunter, how do you feel about Halloween Ends?
So I watched it twice already. I like it a second time even more than I did the first time, and only because I like the idea that David Gordon Green has of making Haddonfield not only more expansive, but the villain. Like Haddonfield has to find a Michael Myers. They have to put blame on somebody else, so the town doesn't look bad. So it's not the town's fault. It's this guy. It's Michael. It's Corey. It's somebody that they're putting blame on, when in reality it's probably the town itself that's causing all this. I like that idea. I like the idea of the town turning on Michael and the town turning on Corey for 2 separate reasons, but they're connected by the hate of Haddonfield, the town. Also, I know a lot of people said that, you don't get, the whole movie of Michael versus Laurie. I didn't want an hour and a half movie of nothing but Laurie versus Michael. I'm okay with the last 15 minutes being the final fight between Michael and Laurie, because you had 3 movies. Michael looked like a badass in Halloween Kills, and then you have the final battle between Michael and Laurie. I feel like if you tried to make a whole movie based around that, it would have been boring because it would have been the same old thing we've seen before. But adding Corey in, which I agree, it would have been better if he was in 2018 and Kills to make it more fleshed out. But I think for what they did, they gave us a really good character, they gave us a really good motivation, and they gave us a reason why him and Michael are connected in a way. They're both outcasts and they're both being targeted by the town. One for a good reason, one for a bad reason. I like that duality of it, and I like that this movie actually had the balls to say this is the death of Michael Myers. They drained him of all his blood and then put his ass in a meat grinder. So this is the final movie of this trilogy. Is instead of doing what a lot of movies in the series have done, where it's like, okay, we're just gonna kill him off, and then surprise, he's alive somehow. So I don't know. I really like Halloween Ends. I have it at 3 on my list. But I definitely get why people may not like it. To me, it hit me in the right emotional beats throughout the movie.
Awesome. Yeah, Kerri, how do you feel about Halloween Ends?
Yeah, I think I'll start off by saying I think this movie definitely has its flaws and its like weird plot holes. This one is just higher ranked for me because I went into it expecting another Halloween Kills, I think, or a continuation of Halloween Kills, and I was really pleasantly surprised that it was something quite different. I think this one still has some really good kills, and I understand though if people are upset that it's not Michael Myers doing the killing. I totally understand that because this franchise is so much about Michael Myers. I personally didn't mind. I found it still super entertaining. I don't know. I kind of like the dynamic between Corey and Allison, and I did really like how this movie ended. I thought that choosing to kill Michael Myers off was just an interesting and a bold choice for the ending of this trilogy. And something, I don't know. I'm a sucker. I liked Laurie's arc by the end of this movie. So, but I will say there are things that I didn't love about this movie, like. I think this whole trilogy in general does like Laurie's trauma arc. I think that whole arc is done better in H2O. Actually, it's just like more subtle and realistic, I think, in H2O. But I think at least we got to end Laurie and Allison off on a good note. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you said a lot. Yeah, I think I can't really talk about this without talking about the trilogy, just as like Austin did, Kerri did, did. I thought 2018 was fine. I think everything that led up to the ending was all in service for just that ending. And then they stretched it out in Halloween Kills just for more shit. And then they just kept going and going. And it was like, I didn't like really any of it. I didn't like what they did with Laurie. I know a lot of people did. They were like, well, this is a really great thing. Like, look at her trauma. She's really doing her trauma. You see her, she's like really good with the trauma. And I'm like, it's like over the top trauma though. Like she's some like, Dawn Winchester from Supernatural, you teaching her kid to be crazy, and stuff. And I get it. Like it's kind of cool the way they have Greer's like arc, and stuff. I thought that was like a really cool dynamic between them. At the beginning, I thought the granddaughter was unnecessary. I thought her boyfriend, the one dude that liked her who dies on the fence, his fucking mom and kills, it was like all of that is unnecessary for me. I don't care about any of that. Any of the tension in that movie that they tried to build up, they undercut with the joke with the little kid being like, oh shit, it's Michael Myers. Everybody run. Don't go up there. You're going to get killed. And I
love Jeremy. Leave him alone.
He's hilarious. Look, he's hilarious. But as like a movie that's a Halloween movie that's supposed to have like tension and atmosphere, because David Gordon Green is a comedy guy, he's going to like and some of the best horror directors have been comedy guys, but he undercuts everything.
David Gordon Green's in a lot of dramas too.
Okay,
he's a really eclectic
filmmaker.
filmmaker.
Yeah, he's a
But
good.
McBride, who's a screenwriter, is also he's definitely
very true.
Yeah.
But with 2018, yeah, I don't know. It's just like a lot of the stuff in it, I just felt like didn't really work. I liked that he was trying to go for like a big nostalgia driven, movie and stuff, but like really just it felt mostly like it was just that with an ending, that the ending was the thing that they really needed to get to. Everything else was just leading up to that. There was a really cool, tracking shot with Michael Myers that was really neat. There's some good stuff in it. I thought that was okay. I thought Kills was like kind of pretty horrendous. I think it can be enjoyed. Like I love some characters, like we've already talked about this. But this is to contextualize why I just ends worked for me so much is because it's not a good trilogy capper. It's not at all. And the reason why is because I hate kind of the trilogy just in general. I don't like any of this really.
Right, but my contention is, well, then make that Corey movie separate from Halloween. Like, it's not a good, like making it not, making this movie not feel like, to me, that's not a good thing. To me, like as a Halloween fan, like if you want to make that movie and call it something else, again, like cool, you know what I mean? Like whatever, like Possessed or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't care.
I would argue just don't make it the finale. Don't make a brand new character the finale to your trilogy.
Yeah,
again, I think there's Corey in another one would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with you. However, I'm still glad that we got this movie because, and I'm gonna say my position. This is my second favorite Halloween movie.
Oh,
wow!
Holy shit!
My number 2 because. Everything, thank you, Kerri, for marking that. Everything else, I dislike a lot more. Okay, so I will say the ending of this movie, I could do without. I love everything with like as Hunter was saying, with Michael Myers kind of like involuntarily a little bit teaching Corey. I love like the themes of like transformation that Corey does. I wish that David Gordon Green had made this movie first and had called it not Halloween Ends, but Halloween Begins. You just have Michael Myers come in, and then whatever story you have, you can get him into the sewer. Do that, and then he stumbles upon Michael Myers in the sewer, and then he teaches Corey, and then it's Halloween Begins, and Corey does not kill himself. He continues on. That's what we wanted from Jamie in 4, potentially, or something like that. Maybe she's killing alongside. That's what they've been toying with, like Laurie for this long time. Like Laurie's going to end up becoming like the next killer. I think Corey makes the most sense because also I think the opening scene of Halloween Ends is my second favorite opening of all time because I was not expecting that. I love how it opens with like the Halloween 3 kind of like credits. And then like I did not know what the hell was going to happen. But like when he like kills that kid, oh my God, that was like so crazy. And I just love how they set up all the shots, all of the different things. You get like certain things that are set up and paid off later, like the microwave exploding that distracts Michael at the end of the movie, the grinder that he's cut up with. It's shot there all the time. In the auto yard that Corey works. Corey's already working in an auto yard, so he's wearing the mechanic stuff that Myers would normally wear. So it makes sense that he would have that on, put on the mask, and then he's going out and being Michael Myers, per se, and going out doing these brutal kills. And I love like the whole thing, like the degradation, like the sinking of the family in the mansion. Who's like they're rich and they're glamorous, and then they're sunken at the end because they've lost everything. Their kid's dead. They probably hate each other. They hate life. They hate the town. The town hates Corey, and Corey is absolving that. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you don't deserve happiness because this accident thing happened when you were babysitting, and that kid was a little shit. But it turns the town, like all the evil and hate and stuff is just absorbed in him, and he's got nowhere left to go. And I don't know. I love the story. I could probably talk about this for a lot longer. And I don't know. I agree with you guys that this is a weird.
This would be the last thing I say about it.
But
If they had taken his plot threads, and somehow weave them into the other movies, to where that opening scene of this new one is in like the first movie, and he's in jail maybe he's in jail the rest of the movie, whatever, and in Kills he's sprinkled throughout, and he's dealing with the issue, and he comes out and he's one of the side characters. He has an encounter with Michael, and they have the little thing, and it gets interrupted, and he gets something transferred, whatever. He's fascinated by it, whatever. And then you do a little bit more of that in this one, and that last shot, which is that weird shot of this one, where you see the mask on the coffee table or whatever. Maybe afterwards he's investigating the crime scenes. He's coming behind everybody. He's looking at things. He's fascinated by the bodies, the trail of blood. And then the last thing is he puts on the fucking mask. And that's like the end of your thing as a tease for a new series. I'm in.
yeah,
It's so rushed. It's so rushed. It's just thrown against the wall in this one. Like, I just can't go with it. I can't.
yeah.
Like, if you had done something.
I think probably everybody who likes this and everybody who hates this movie can all agree that the trilogy is not good. The trilogy could have been done so much better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoyed this movie, and I did not think I was going to after Kills.
Same.
I was just like so surprised. That's why I had to watch it a second time in preparation for this, because I was like, all right, was that just a high of, whoa, I was surprised by this. Second time, I like Hunter, I liked it even more.
Yep.
And probably if you hated it, you might watch it again and hate it even more.
Yep.
I watched it again and hated it even more. I just did. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm hoping what happens with Ins is what happens with, I had like a good like connection of something that's like been growing, like, and it's like better.
I actually see this as the newer version of Season of the Witch. Give it a few years, and maybe people will rewatch it and be like, you know what? As a end of a trilogy, it's not good, but as a standalone Halloween movie, it could be really, really fun, because this also gives a great Halloween like setting as Season of the Witch does as well.
I think what it also could have done a little bit better, just to make it like, I wish that after they had grinded up Michael, Laurie's at a really good place with Allison and stuff like that. Or maybe not. You don't want to show too much after, but then it shows Corey just sit up, like, like the shape would. I think that would have been good. And then cue the music. That would have been a really cool.
Yeah.
Also, how did the entire town know where they were? Is there like a big group text, or when they're dumping the body, the entire town is with them?
The entire town does a march, a rally on the fly.
Everyone there on a group. Hey guys,
at 2 a.m, we're gonna go march to the junkyard real quick. You want to come?
People dies tonight.
I don't know. It's different from Mob and Kills, but
Whatever. It's not perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect.
Well, it's far from perfect.
I like
There's a big group text. They're all
90%
friends.
of the movie, I'd say. So
We're hanging out with Michael. Lol.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've all talked about Ends. Very divisive. We knew it was going to be, and we devoted a chunk of time to it. So we should talk about 2018, because I've already said my piece on it, but a lot of people I think like this more. So Austin, do you want to?
Yeah, it's my number 2. I think we're probably all gonna have the same number 1. I mean, I think that's pretty guaranteed. But it's just where the other ones fall. But yeah, it's my number 2. This movie is really like I had a great time with it initially, and I've gone back to it like a surprising number of times, and it's really grown on me. I liked it. My only nitpick with it, and I'll get it out of the way because then I'll be mostly positive, is I actually wish they'd kept the original Halloween 2 in continuity somehow, because and this, my only reason is, in an age of mass shootings and other serial killers that came along and people who like murder like their families and things, a guy who like killed like 3 random people like 40 years ago, is it really going to be like that much of a lore? Like, that kind of happens a lot. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, I think it would have been more impactful if it was this guy who butchered like 11 people that night, and who followed this and terrorized this entire town for more than a couple of hours and just killed 3 random people. It's just a little nitpick that like, I don't think like the lore of this guy would be as much as it is in that movie, you know, like just for that. Anyways, but yeah, maybe it's because it's a small town. I don't know. That's fine. But yeah, I think this movie starts out strong. Love the scene with the podcasters, like at the mental institution, like the way it just builds with the music and like them holding the mask out, trying to get a reaction. It was great. I think Jamie Lee Curtis is fantastic. Like I love her being a survivalist. Like she's Sarah Connor in this movie, man. It's awesome. I dig it. And yeah, I like all that. I like all the side characters, you know, Toby Huss and Judy Greer and everybody that's like pops up in this movie. Yeah, like we said, Will Patton, who's been a favorite character actor of mine. Yeah, the doctor stuff gets weird in the car. Like that's my one other beat that I don't really love. Him being like, oh, I just want to see it in person. Like that's weird.
I don't think anybody likes Sartain.
Yeah, Sartain is not great, and he's only really there to propel Michael into the final showdown essentially and put him on the right path. But other than that, like I think it's beautifully shot. It's beautifully acted. It's beautifully scored. It's you can tell David Gordon Green is a fan. Like he wanted to do the series justice. He wanted to, you know, make the older Michael thing like work. And I think it does work. I think there's some really great tension stuff. That one tracking shot is amazing. Like when he goes into the house and kills the woman, like all in the one shot. I think it's great.
Yeah.
The finale, the showdown is awesome. Like, and kind of where that, like, if they had just ended on there and not even done the rest of the movies, I'd been cool with it. Like, if it's just this one movie and she locks him in that thing and that house burns down, awesome, you know, and that's it. And we said there's not going to be another sequel. That's it. Cool. I'm there, but you know, I like kills, but you know, again, like if they had ended with the 2018 one, I think it'd be great. And so yeah, I have a lot of good things to say about 18. I've gone back to it a lot. It's definitely shot up in my rankings like very quickly over that. Now this will obviously kills for me too, but you know, that's just me. But yeah, I like it a lot.
What do you think about the stupid dad character who has like nothing?
I like that actor, so I forgive a lot of it. Like it's
I
fine.
love Toby Huss.
Toby Huss is awesome. He's already the strongest man in the world, so like I forgive him. He's on Pete and Pete back in the day, so like and he's in Bedazzled.
That guy?
Yeah, and he was in Bedazzled. He plays all the different characters in Bedazzled. Like he's great. Like I love Toby Huss. Like he's
Reno
awesome.
911. That dude.
Yeah. So
I wish there was more emotion felt when he died. Like no one gave.
They do.
They're also in a very tense situation. But that's when I like the stuff in Kills where Judy Greer is washing the blood off her hands and she got the ring, and like they actually take time to like realize that hey, some people just died this same night, like a few hours ago. Like even like you said, I know you didn't like that one character, but even during the mob scene when that one mom, they've been brushing her off and she sees her kid on the slab and she finds out that he's dead, and that's how she finds out. Like that's brutal, man. Like if you stop, like David Gordon Green takes the time to actually acknowledge some of that stuff, which is what I like. So I think that movie doesn't get enough credit for scenes like that as well. But yeah, like everything. Like I can forgive him. He's a yuppie, you know, dad. Like I know people like that, so like it's fine. But yeah, I mean, it's just I think it's in the frenzy of the ending stuff. Like it gets kind of lost in the shuffle. Like it kind of is what it is as we're kind of like rushing towards the climax a little bit. But I think there's way more positives than negatives to this movie. Like I think it's really really well done.
Yeah, and I think Kills probably has strong moments, but just for me, I think like the overall. So the moments sometimes just get like, I don't care about this, but some of the moments are strong. Jordan, what do you think about 2018?
Dude, I love this movie, man. I did a countdown recently on my channel. It was my top 10 of just 2010 horrors in general that decade. I think it's great, man. I was really pumped coming out of the theater of this one here, man. I loved it. Again, kind of like the first one, a little bit of a nice slow build of the podcasters and him kind of escaping here. I like the new concept of Jamie Lee is very kind of, you know, she's been kind of readying for this because she's always kind of felt in the back of her mind that he might come out, and even the kind of reaction later on when you find out Judy Greer is also kind of a badass. She's like, yeah, look who raised me, you know.
That's a great scene.
And like Pez said too, like it does give you it's also really good as it's one of the, like we said, there's about 3 or 4 that have really good finales here too, and it's a good finale of, you know, them finally trapping him and seeing him burn and let it burn, you know, at the end, and you're excited for that next one here. And I like the world that they built here. I do agree with Pez. I do like the idea of like Oh man, they're really paranoid for a guy that only killed a few people, 30 years ago. But
if they had left the Halloween 2 continuity at least,
Yeah.
and just moved on from there, and to where it was like 11 or 12 people or whatever instead of
it's
3.
even more prominent though
I
with kills, because even kills is like the entire town is still talking about it. And it's like I can get why Lori's talking about it, but what would the whole
But
town
the new generation, the 2 generations after that, wouldn't have heard
Yeah.
of this guy. Like they might have heard a passing story
It
about
would be like
this.
Anthony Michael Hall, shut up, old man. We don't care.
Yeah, I think it would have been a passing, interesting story about this escaped mental patient that caused a night of havoc, like back in the day. But it would be like kind of forgotten, like as opposed to we still talk about like Kent State, even where like 2 people die. You know what I mean? Like there's or I would say in the age of like mass shootings and like the BTK killer and like Gacy would we really be talking about this random mental patient that kind of went nutty for like one night and just killed a few people? Again, I'm not saying it's not impactful that he killed those people or whatever for those families in the context of the movie, but it's just I feel like there would have been things in history that would have got a lot more attention than that would have been lost in the shuffle. Like I'm just saying, it would have been a footnote.
No, for sure, it is one of those things. You just kind of roll with it. But yeah, I love this movie.
Yeah, because the original came out in the heart of the rise of those killers that you're talking
about.
Yeah,
right.
Brilliant. And the thing, because you were talking about them throwing away the whole sister idea, which I do like, but it's funny that they just have that line. It's like, wasn't he the sister? Like, no, that's somebody made up.
Someone made that up.
Better about themselves or something like that. Hunter, what do you like about 2018? I know you really like this one.
So I really love 2018, and for a long time it was my number 2, of the series. But on multiple rewatches, I did find stuff that kind of bogged it down. Hence why it's at my number 4. I mean, it's still high on my list, but the Sartain character, I didn't like that he was kind of the pushing motion of getting Michael to fight Laurie. Like it was his doing. I did not like when he tried to put on the mask in the car. It was big ass head looking so ridiculous. The podcasters I could do without, if I'm being honest. Like a really cool bathroom scene, really, really good bathroom scene, but they just kind of felt shoehorned in there to be like, here's what Laurie's doing now, so many years later. I feel like you could have just cut that out. But overall, I mean, I think the kills are really good. I think taking it back to more of the serious tone of Halloween and more keeping it grounded in reality is kind of a really smart move. I actually really liked the Allison character. I know a lot of people didn't really like her. I enjoyed her character. It's good to see someone. I love her in Ends too, but I just feel like on a rewatch, like the Sartain stuff kind of bogs down, but overall, it's a really, really good return to form for the Halloween franchise.
Like the shot with like Laurie standing outside and then suddenly she's laying on the ground outside and then she's gone. Really cool. Really cool.
So good.
Kerri, do you like 2018?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my number 3. I thought this was actually a really great movie to kick off this trilogy. We get to, I don't know, it just starts off this cool trend that I think David Gordon Green had in these movies of bringing back these old characters and most of the time bringing back the original actors, where it was possible. It was just a strong start. I think like people said, I think it's the scenes with the podcasters are pretty cool. I think all the kills in this are really fantastic. I think it is, as much as I like the H2O version of Laurie better, I do think this was a cool perspective on Laurie and like her family life and how her family's been affected by this. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so now we're on to H2O, I believe, right?
Yeah, we could do H2O.
Who has H2O the highest? It is my number 3.
It's my number 2.
All right, Kerri, do you want to start us off with H2O?
Yeah, I feel like I referenced it quite a few times already.
Say what, you can be brief, you can be long, whatever you want.
Yeah, I really love this one. For me, it's the strongest Halloween sequel. I think Laurie's character in this is the most believable, as compared, I guess, to like the trilogy, the new trilogy. Because you see that she is traumatized. Obviously, I think anyone who had been through, kind of that situation would be. But I think she still kind of stays a little bit more true to her character from the original movie, where she was, she's kind of a nerd and book smart. I like that we see her in kind of like a position of power. She's I think it's like the headmaster, the head, of a boarding school. She has like a complicated relationship with her son, but they do have a relationship. They are in each other's lives. I would say on a rewatch, the only thing I didn't love about this movie actually is I think Michael kills like 2 people in this movie, or like 3 teenagers.
I'll talk about that in a minute. Why it's so good for me.
I was a little bit like, I kind of forgot that there's not a lot here, but I really like Laurie's. I would like the ending to this movie. I guess I like the endings where Laurie kills Michael and gets her revenge.
I mean, honestly, Michael doesn't really kill too many people on screen in the original, so it didn't really bother me, to be honest. But I understand that being a negative, because after the original, it's kind of like a thing, like he kills people, and that's like what we want to see, or what other people want to see, at least. I really like this one. This is my number 3. And the reason I've always liked this one as soon as I saw this, I know people are all over the place with this one, I think, but for me, I'm a huge Scream fan. And Kevin Williams did not directly write this, but he was heavily involved. In fact, like he was like coming up with a lot of concepts, how to give us the great ending that H2O has, and then still give Mustafa Akkad what he wanted. That was all Kevin Williamson. He it just gives you a very Scream feeling, and it's the same with like Urban Legend. A lot of movies around that time felt very Scream, and for me, that's not a negative. I really love Kevin Williamson writing, and I think it really shows here. I really enjoy Josh Hartnett is like his first role or whatever, or one of his first roles in this. It's kind of like his star-making kind of thing. I love how Laurie's kind of in hiding here, and her name's Kerri with 1 R. She's over there trying to start a new life. I like how subtle her whole trauma thing is. I think it's more realistic. I don't think someone who went through what she did is going to turn into John Winchester, but maybe they do. I don't know. I don't know anybody who went through that, so maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like it's more realistic here. She's just kind of seeing his reflection everywhere, around every corner, kind of a deal. But she's functioning, but she's kind of, still, I don't know. She's like an alcoholic in this. I think she is. But she's trying to have a normal life. She has this dude she's trying to, be with, who works with her or whatever. And then she gets the final at the end. She has like a kind of a touching little moment with Michael, and then she whacks his head off. And it's not Michael apparently, but for the continuity, if you throw away Resurrection,
in my head canon it is.
I really like this one. I don't know. I know, like, because Austin really likes Curse. I put Curse actually pretty high, like my number 8. But after 4, 5, and 6, when it's just like, when it gets into really not good territory, this was like a long-awaited like sequel, and it really worked for me. And they're watching Scream 2 in this, so it's like, really, like, oh, Scream all the way, and how Scream influenced this movie. And I don't know, it's just a really fresh feeling when I get through 4, 5, and 6. I get to H2, and I'm like, oh, finally a good movie again.
Yeah.
For me, that's just how I feel, and I think this has the better bathroom scene where it's really creepy. He doesn't go in and just like and kill people, which I thought was silly, but because I don't like the podcasters. But what he does is he takes the purse, and she sees him through the crack in the stall, and then he's just steals the car, and he's just getting what he wants to go on his mission to, kill Lori. He's trying to find out where she is or whatever. She eats the car. So he doesn't go and kill them for no reason. He skips. I just think that's really cool, and it's really creepy because you don't expect it, and then you see him, and then you're like, oh shit, okay, and then you're like, oh shoot, nothing happened. Okay, cool. I really like this one. Austin, what do you think about this one?
I have it the lowest. I had it at 9, and I have a reason. I really want to like this movie every time I go back to it. I really want to. It feels like a post-Scream movie, like they're trying to do like a post-Scream Halloween movie. I get what they're going for. I like the opening with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and like some of the stuff with that. Like I like that. I like the opening credits. That kind of fills us in on what's been going on. There's suspected Michael killings. We see that Loomis has died in the meantime, or Lewis died or whatever. But some of these other news clippings. I like all that stuff. And then to me, there's like an hour of this movie, bro, that there's just nothing happening for like an hour. Like it just takes forever for something to happen. Like I think we're just we're at the school, we're meandering, we're having arguments about what we're going to do tonight. We're planning a party. We're drinking wine. We're sitting around like a fire. We're laying in bed. We're making more food. We're walking or wandering around the school. LL Cool J's reading poetry. Bro, there's an hour of this movie where I'm just can we just fucking get to it already? Can he just get there and start killing some of these people? Can we ratchet up the tension? And then it finally kind of gets to it with 20 minutes left, and then we're just rushing to the finale. He comes in and it's just chase and try to live and finale. And it's I feel like you could have sped it up a little bit. I just think there's a whole lot of this movie where there's just I every time I go back and watch it, I just get 45 minutes in. I'm like, oh God, yeah, this movie's kind of boring. I like what Jamie Lee Curtis is doing. I think she does a good job. I like Josh Hartnett a lot. I'm a big Faculty fan, so I love Josh Hartnett. I think
he's great. Yeah.
Faculty's awesome.
I need to watch that movie.
He's great in that movie. He's awesome. Again, it's got a solid cast. All the pieces are there, but there's just something that just doesn't click as far as the pacing is just brutal in this one. It's almost on Halloween 5 level, where I'm just if I had this on Prime with that 10, I'd be 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Let's go. Let's get there. Let's just get to it. Do something. Yeah, the body count's 2 in this movie or whatever. I don't know. It's just something just doesn't click with me for it, man. I want it to be better than it is every time I go back to it.
Yeah, and having LL Cool J in it was the reason why we got Busta Rhymes later on.
Yeah.
I actually like LL Cool J in this because I like his whole arc where he is writing
a story.
And then he changes what he's writing about after his experience. But yeah, go ahead. What did you like about H2O or not?
No, I do like this one a lot, actually. This is another one I saw pretty early on when it first came out. It was kind of the first new one I got to see kind of on video and whatnot. And I really like it too. You have elements that we saw in the most recent trilogy as far as, Jamie Lee Curtis is a little distraught. She's still paranoid here after what she's gone through, and she moved far away. And I like the fact that Michael is kind of smart, though, kind of figuring out, going through Loomis's old stuff here. You got an interesting opening segment with Joseph Gordon-Levitt here. Very bloodless sequel, though, to a very large degree. It's very much kind of off-screen kills. Even Joseph Gordon-Levitt, you come back and it's skate in the head. I'm like, oh, I kind of wanted to see that, as the horror fan I am. So it is pretty bloody, pretty good TV edit because there's not much to edit out of it. And I do understand what Pez says about it being a little slow, but I like what they did here. And again, I really love the ending and the climax here. Some good moments between them. Really shocking death of the boyfriend here. That's one of the more shocking deaths, the way he's convulsing and Michael lifts him up to remind you how strong he is and whatnot. So I let enough of it work. And I also like LL Cool J in this movie. Between this and Deep Blue Sea with Sharks, he had a good couple years.
Deep Blue Sea is awesome. I actually think there might be some deleted scenes that are more gory that they left out for some reason. Maybe
Well, and you can look online. There was 2 different masks for the movie. They filmed like half the movie with this other really goofy looking mask, like, and then they redesigned it and like reshot. They had to get everybody back together and like reshoot all this stuff. Like you can look it up. Look up H2O, Halloween H2O, 2 different masks, or what, you'll see it. You'll find it. Like the scenes that they shot, especially the one where he's looking through the little circular window, like he comes face to face with Jamie, like right there. Like there's a very famous like thing about it. So, but yeah, it was a goofy looking thing at the time. Yeah, and they had to like reshoot everything.
Yeah, I think Hunter might get into this, but I wanted to mention it just because I don't want people to forget that actually Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to have a scene with her mom.
Yes.
The lady who was in Psycho.
Yeah.
And, she wanted to have a scene. They did. It's really special.
And she's driving the same car she drives in Psycho. Also.
It's such a great scene.
And I just love the fact that she wanted it. They're like, well, you're Laurie Strode. You get whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's happening. And then it's just so special. And I think it's like a swan song for Janet Leigh. So, Hunter, what do you like about this movie?
So I'm going to go ahead and say this. Halloween H2O is my favorite Halloween movie. It is my number 1.
Whoa.
Yes. Is my number 1. That is the hottest of hot takes, I know.
All right, I'm gonna do it real quick. Boom, psych.
Like, bro, I had some hot takes tonight, but I wouldn't go that far.
Hunter was teasing that he had a weird hot take coming up, but you know what? Everybody has different opinions, even if they're wrong. Hunter, go ahead.
It was literally between this and 78 because yes, I love the classic Halloween. It's amazing, but I'm also a huge Scream fan, as Chad brought up. So the idea of getting a version of Scream set in the Halloween franchise is what I love about it, and I love that this also feels like the Halloween season. You know what I mean? It's set in the campus, but you have like the leaves, and you have all the shots of the town. But there are scenes in this movie that I think Jamie Lee Curtis is probably the best when it comes to acting performances. One of them is when she finds out her son skipped school, and she has that big argument with her son. And she's like, just give me this one day. He goes, I gave you 7 years of this. And you just see you see both sides. I love the fact that, yes, because you don't get a lot of kills in it, but I'm fine with that because the original Halloween didn't have a lot of kills either. It was about the story. And I love the story of H2O dealing with Laurie and her trauma and doing it in a tasteful way, as Kerri brought up, where it's, she looks over and she sees Michael in a reflection, or she she feels like Michael's behind her, but she has to stay strong for her son. She has to stay strong to make sure that she can protect her son. And I don't know. There's something about that's done really tastefully in just this one setting of this boarding school that I really, really love. So yeah, this is my favorite of the Halloween franchise.
Nothing wrong with that. Kerri, what?
I already saw.
Oh yeah. Well, I think there's only one movie we haven't talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we still need everyone's. I think we only got partway through the 3s. Yeah, now 2s. Okay.
2 ends.
2018.
2018.
Halloween 78. Oh, yep, there we go.
Hunter's a crazy person. Why'd you write that?
You made a mistake, right? Like it was a typo.
Okay.
All right.
Now we can talk about Halloween.
All right, we can talk about Halloween.
I haven't seen it. Any good?
What?
Yeah. It's my one blind spot in the series. Yeah, I got to get around to it.
All right, I'll go ahead and start. I freaking love this movie. I believe Austin has seen it. I've argued and debate a lot for this movie. I lost once, which was insane, but it was against The Thing, so I don't know, whatever.
Well, and it was weird. I lost The Thing against you saying Nightmare on Elm Street, which I thought was weird. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it's
funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think this is one of, if not the greatest horror film ever made. It's just it like really just it set the template for the entire slasher genre, at least. But it's just like horror in general. It just really you set the tone. It for some reason, because it's not the first slasher. You had Black Christmas. You had other like Peeping Tom,
Texas
like
Chainsaw.
Texas Chainsaw, other movies like that are super influential. But for whatever reason, Halloween, just the way it was directed, it's so smart. It just hit the zeitgeist and just became this phenomenon. Maybe it was Michael Myers. Maybe it was the opening sequence where, you're following the killer through the killer's eyes and he kills Judith. And then you find out that it's a little kid that's doing the killing, which is like, what? And then, it turns into this just really smart movie. It's so tight, 90 minutes of just brilliance. Like everything seemingly makes sense. I don't think there's really any plot holes in this to speak of. Like I know some people, Rob Zombie, like, he doesn't even know how to make a Halloween movie, yet he has a problem with Michael driving. But they explain that. They don't explain how. They just go, maybe someone taught him. And I just think that's fine. I love how they at least nod to something. Some of the things they don't even show, and I think that's creepier. Like, him getting all the trails that they follow to see how he got his suit, how he got his mask. The mask, I think, is the creepiest it's ever been just because it's so cheaply made and it just looks, just so cheap and real. This whole movie just looks so viscerally real because it's made with such a small budget and everything. Like even the little like kind of qualms that people could have, like with the acting performances from the teenage babysitters or whatever, Annie and Linda. The thing about it is it's written like so authentically from Deborah Hill that it's like that's charm, I think, right there. And the fact that they didn't have a big budget to get a lot of professional actors, that there's a lot of these were their first time jobs.
You had Donald Pleasance for 3 days. They had him for 3 days.
Yeah,
he had to cram a lot into 3 days.
He was drunk the whole time.
He was drunk during that scene, the car scene.
Yeah.
The dog scene with the lifeless eyes, the black eyes,
The devil's eyes.
But yeah, and even though this was shot in California with the palm trees, it feels so fall. It really it has the most Halloween feeling, I think, of any movie. Not just because it's called Halloween, but just because just the way it is. I don't know. It's just the movie you put on Halloween. And if you don't, I don't know. Maybe you should. Maybe you should put it on. You should definitely put this number 1, not H2O. It's just perfect. I don't know what to tell you. I love this movie, and I could sit here and talk about it for a lot longer. And I'll probably have other things to say after people are done. But Austin, go ahead.
And you were saying about those other movies. The difference with those other movies, with Texas Chainsaw, it's these people driving around and they stumble upon the house of Leatherface. Psycho, she checks into the Bates Motel. They enter the situation. In this one, it's just people in this small town. The evil comes to them, and invades their town and turns their worlds upside down, which is why it's so scary. The opening of this white suburban family, all American family, and all of a sudden this kid, this little blonde-haired, blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid, you pull the mask off, and it's just like every kid you'd see in a comic strip or something, and something snapped, and he just kills his sister, and you don't know why, and it's the mystery of it. It's that how John Carpenter wanted to end the movie. Like I said, just wanted this to be a one and done, and the meaning of that was you can't kill evil. Evil is still out there. It might be in your neighborhood now, like it's that creepy thing of like, you do everything you can to stop it and he's not there anymore. He's out there. He's the boogeyman. And it's so simple of a story, but the way it has intrigued people for years, and how he's just billed as the Shape. He's not even billed as Michael Myers. It's the Shape, because he is just this faceless shape of evil, and it's so iconic. And what's there to say that hasn't been said about the score, about the way it's shot with Dean Cundy, who would go on to shoot like Jurassic Park, all these like crazy, he became like a Spielberg guy later, like it's shot beautifully for what it is. They get the bang for every single buck, in this movie, and they created, a character, that, sure, you could nitpick the movie to death, just like every other movie you can nitpick on the planet, but like it's about as close to a perfectly structured horror film as you can get, from start to finish, the way it just slowly escalates and the tension that builds up. And he's like, people made this argument. I don't understand. It's like, well, when you find out, the meme was like, when you find out, the face you make when you find out Michael Myers had less screen time in the original than in Halloween Ends. I'm like, that's not the point. Michael Myers feels like he looms over this town the entire movie because of those shots. He's everywhere you look, every corner you look around, every window you look out of, he's there. Like, that's the point. He's there, but he's not there. It's just, he's always around the corner, which is, if somebody was scared of the dark, scared of the boogeyman, what's in the shadows, what it is. So yeah, I mean, it's about as close to a perfect horror movie as you get. It's not my favorite horror movie, but like it's it's in like my top 10, you know what I mean? Like, not my personal favorite, but it's like, it is there because I haven't done my official rewatch for Halloween yet, because I do it on Halloween. You got to put the movie on. That's what you do. So I will watch it either the night before or the day of, like you put it on. So what's there to be said about Halloween? It's like talking about Back to the Future or something. It's like we've been talking about that. It is
Beautiful. Yeah. And the only time they ever say Michael, I believe, in the entire movie is where Judith screams and goes, Michael!
Yeah.
And then it's shaped the rest of the time. The white mask is supposed to be like where you can project like any of your fears on that blank white mask.
Yeah.
Jordan, do you like the original Halloween?
It's all right. I'll get around to it sooner or later. No, I do, man. It's my number one. It's up there. It's one of the all-timers for a reason. Still a reason we talk about it here. It takes its time. The dental is not high, which is something I don't even think I thought about at first. That's something that's been talked about more recently. Of like, oh yeah, that first one, it's not nonstop kills, but it builds to it here, and you know what I mean. And it still holds up. The score, obviously, that it's become so iconic here, and there's a reason why you can revisit this, pretty much every Halloween if you want, and why we still go back. And that's the reason why I was excited for 2018, is because I was like, all right, give me something I can sink my teeth into. And it's a great film here, man.
Definitely. Hunter, what do you think about this? Your second favorite?
Second favorite. No, I was really debating on like which one do I put at one, and 78's a classic, man. Everything you guys said, I can't add anything more to it. I mean, the score we've talked about, which is incredible. The pacing is amazing. It's a very tight film, and there's nothing wrong with this film, except one thing: he eats a dog, apparently, and that's why it's at number two. That's why it's at number two.
He got hungry.
Man, I love how he can murder multiple people, but as soon as a dog gets eaten, come on.
It's weird, like, because it's done so stylistically in this, I'm still fine with that. I don't know.
No, but it's a classic. Yeah.
It's not gruesome. It's a line, like he must have got hungry.
He got hungry. Yeah.
Kerri, the original.
Yes. I don't know what else there is to say. This is a perfect movie, a perfect horror movie. It's still scary.
Oh shit.
I
you know
I
what?
don't know what else to
Kerri's stuff that she said about the original is just like the original, simple, to the point. And that's exactly what it is. It's a perfect horror film. We all love it. We all said it. Most of us have it at number one because we're smart.
I look forward to all the hate comments. I am ready for it. I am ready for them.
All the maybe like one person that watches this probably be nice to Hunter. But he's ready for it. If you're not,
hey guys,
whatever.
Get Hunter. Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight.
All right, yeah. So that's what it is. We could go on about this original for I know I could a long time. But this is an interesting franchise. There's a lot of ups. There's a lot of downs. There's a lot of middles that we're fine with, but yeah.
But that's with every franchise that has 13 installments. You know what I mean? Like they can't all be bangers. Maybe we might change our. Well, I think the one that has the best chance is John Wick if they get to 13 installments, but we'll see. So yeah.
We're not at 4 yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So this was really fun. We had a great panel. I had a really great time. And we got to get onto the final ranking. I almost forgot. Kerri, what is the you ranking with me final ranking?
Yeah, and so because Austin and Jordan are new, so what we do is basically each place value is assigned an equal number of points. So say, for example, I had Curse as my number 13. It's given 13 points. So the movie with the most points is in last place. The movie with the least points is in third.
Right on.
All right. So coming in,
I probably threw the whole thing out of whack with some of my rankings, so I apologize.
That's okay. So it's surprisingly, some of it like evens out. Some stuff is like knocked way down because it'll be like one person. But okay. So at number 13, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. At number 12, Halloween Resurrection. At number 11, Rob Zombie's Halloween. At number 10, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. At number 9, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers.
Sounds all right so far.
At number 8, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. At number 7, Halloween Kills.
Boo! That movie rules.
At number 6, the original Halloween 2.
This is the top 5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. At number 5, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
Yay.
At number 4, Halloween Ends. At number 3, Halloween H2O. At number 2, Halloween 2018. And by a landslide at number 1, Halloween.
We didn't disappoint you guys, even though Hunter tried.
Yes, my mission.
So we have had a great panel here. I love it. So thank you, Kerri. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Hunter. This was really fun. Anybody want to plug anything real quick?
Nerd Entertainment Network. Join us for Welcome to Primetime every Sunday.
Okay.
Movie Hero Network, tournament fights, tier ranker fights, podcast league now, trivia triathlon, all kinds of good stuff over there. So I'm a pretty regular co-host, pretty much. Pretty much the co-host on the channel. So yeah, check us out. And I'm popping up in a million trivia leagues. And I started out with one show tonight. Now I've done 3. I started out at 7 p.m. And now it's almost 1:30 in the morning. So I only planned on being up till like 8:30 tonight. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's fun. But I had a good time. Thank you.
Check me out over at the Peersco, doing some fun stuff over there, countdowns as well as some movie trivia. In fact, Sunday, Chad will be taking on Lewis in some movie trivia, fight to the death. Oh, did I tell you that part?
Oh, shoot. Okay, I'll try to be ready. And as always, jump over to the Dill Pickle Movie Network because I do picture this and a lot of other stuff over there. It's really fun. And watch the other videos in here. We've done Edgar Wright, we've done Christmas, we've done Harry Potter, we did all 3 phases of the MCU. And then for October, we're doing Halloween now, but we just did Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream. And Evil Dead. And we have a lot of others coming up. Maybe Quentin Tarantino, Star Wars.
Tarantino is my favorite director. So
nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of stuff coming up, so I'm really excited. So like and subscribe. Check out those other videos, and thank you very much. And oh wait, are you ranking with me?
Evil dies tonight!
Evil dies tonight!